Phew. Okay, finally, I worked this shit out. Sorry, everyone. That was a bit of a thing that I'll explain in a second. But anyway, welcome everybody. Xantos Vice here, and we are finally here with Witch on the Holy Night. That's right, it's finally happening. Finally. I finally found time to actually do it. It is pretty late at night for me, but honestly, I'm not really doing anything else tonight, so yeah, this is just gonna be the main focus tonight. Thank God. Anyway, sorry for all those attempts earlier. For some reason, my like normally I don't really have this issue. I had it like maybe once or twice with one game in particular. I don't remember what it was, but when I made this like whole new capture source thing or whatever, um, it started zooming in on the game for some reason. I'm pretty sure you guys could tell when you first check the VOD earlier. Well, before I deleted though, but it just kept zooming in onto the game, and I'm like, damn it, what the fuck is going on? And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe it's my controller, so that's the problem. So then I'm actually doing this on keyboard and mouse, which I never do, but this is a visual novel. I don't really have to do anything. So yeah. And that didn't work. So then I checked and it's like I just had to transform to fit to screen or whatever the fuck it is. So I'm like, okay, good. And now it's finally working. So yeah, sorry it's taking so long. And I'll be honest, this is a weird way for me to intro the game because usually we have a big like starting screen and everything, but that doesn't seem to be the case here. And I actually did make sure to check like is this a problem? And it's like, yeah, I think it's because this is like a new like a transition from like how it is for like console. It's like this is PC that I'm playing on, so maybe that's one of the reasons I don't get like the title screen that you normally get, like I do on Tales of Berseria and a lot of other games. I don't think I can fix that. I think they said in order to do so, I need some kind of a what's it called? Some kind of like media thing or something. But honestly, I just can't be bothered, right? If it's just for the title screen, and if I can like place a bookmark or a quick save and whatever, and then just get back onto it, then I might as well just do that instead. So then I don't have to like try to do anything weird or get any kind of malware that I don't really understand anything about. So that's why it's like it's just starting off like this. Well, but okay, we're just going straight into the game. Again, feel a bit weird doing this, but I made sure to check other people who have done this series. Like I only watched like their opening minute of this game. And some of them had the same thing where it just goes straight into the game. So I'm like, okay, as long as it's also happening to other people, it's not just my version of the game, then I can just deal with it, okay? It's not too big of a deal because I don't think there's an opening for the game. At least I don't think so, unless it's introduced much later. But hopefully, that's the only issue this game has. Because I heard that they had to do a couple updates, but that was like many years ago when the game actually initially released. So if there's nothing else really to it, then there shouldn't be any problems. So like I said, I will be doing this keyboard and mouse. It is a bit unusual for me because, like I said, I've never actually done anything keyboard and mouse, but let's be honest, this is a visual novel. I'm not going to be expected to do QTEs or anything like that. At least I hope not. Like I said, it's my first visual novel series. Like, I've watched content about it, well, to some extent. Like, when it comes to Steins Gate and a little bit of Rewrite, but I watched more of Rewrite the anime than I did the visual novel. But Steins Gate and Steins Gate Zero, I actually watched Nico B do his playthroughs of the visual novels for both. So it's like I kind of get what I'm in for, and I did see that as like this is mainly voice, but it does seem like at this starting point, this is just like probably like a narrator doing the dialogue. So I guess I will be doing some of the narrating, which is fine. Like I said, I have at least some experience when it comes to PGR, but as long as I don't have to go crazy for every single voice, which would probably be impossible because there'll be like recurring characters out there be like, oh shit, they came back in like just a couple VODs slash streams later, and it's gonna be a bit hectic. But luckily, that does not seem to be the case. So we're just gonna go out here and see how far we exactly we can go. And like I said, I know almost absolutely nothing about this. I just know this has to do with the chick with red hair who Aoi Anzaki, right? I think was her name, who ends up giving the glasses to what was his name? Tono from a Tsukihime remake. But again, I only know this basic context from Melty Blood type Lumina. And also, no, this is just bare bone knowledge. It's like, I don't really know too much or almost anything about the series, so I'm not really being spoiled on anything. At least I don't think so on this part. If anything, if I remember, this is just a prelude to Tsukihime Remake, so it's not really going to be anything I really know about, whereas I at least know a bit about CL and a bit about Arcuade and them and Akiha from Melty Blood, so at least I don't have to worry about that here. And like I said, regards to Tsukihime Remake, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Maybe at some point down the line, I'll actually get a capture card or something, and then I can just play my my games on the PS5 and then put it here. But it'd be a lot more complicated. I probably have to contact Digitaco again to actually get me to understand how the fuck I'm supposed to do it, so then I could do it for other games too. But like I said, that's just much further down the line. So anyway, let's actually get started on my first visual novel series. Oh, no, not exit the game. God damn it. Oh, back. It was a winter's day 8 years ago. Oh, my bad. How do I press back? Shit. No. Okay, that solemn morning when she understood the value of life for the very first time. Now I know what the autoplay button is, and how to check my log. At least I know how to get to the menu from here. Her home was nestled on the side of a mountain. Around it was nothing but inhospitable wilderness. She had no neighbors or childhood friends to speak of. Things like traveling to school or playing outside were more trouble than they ought to be. Oh, good. My mic doesn't pick up me clicking on the mouse. Good, because I thought that was going to be an annoying thing, but looks like that isn't. Awesome. But just in case, I will put my mouse as far away as possible from the mic. Indeed, with its pure water and bright stars, it was a place of ritual memories, both frustrating and halcyon. Oh, okay, that's an interesting term. And that was only during summer, though. Winters in those mountains were extremely frigid, each morning more severe than the last. Huh? I was like, why did it just disappear like that? Her father would drive her to the train station, after waiting 10 minutes for the engine to warm up and the iced over windows to clear. Oh, never mind, it does pick up a bit. I don't know why I didn't pick it up before. Not to have a problem with it. Her father would savor his morning coffee, leaving her to venture outside and rev the engine. Damn it, still doing it. Actually, let me check the buttons for this, like how to advance. Oh, I could press C. Okay. I guess I could try doing that. And to press back, X. Okay. Out the front door she would go, traversing the garden with icy breath until she reached the old sedan. As always, she inserted the key, then started the ignition. The engine rumbled to life. Just as she proudly finished that humble task she'd done so many times before. A shrill scream pierced the air. She knew, even though it wasn't human, that the feeble sound was a cry of agony. A few moments passed. Her father came out and opened the hood in the car. Creaking fan belts, monstrous-looking engine, and something that didn't belong. There was a cat, a mother by the looks of it, and her 2 kittens. The 3 cats had been huddling for warmth in the engine's compartment. Oh, what the hell? Okay, this is already kind of disturbing. The mother cat was missing its... Oh! Okay. I mean, I knew there were at least going to be some scenes that are graphic, but if I remember correctly, things are supposed to be even more graphic with Tsukihime Remake, if I remember correctly, because it has to do with, like, vampires and shit. But I didn't think this would already start off with something kind of graphic. Okay. This is very interesting. What the hell? Hey, What the hell? I'm pressing on my keyboard. That's weird. Okay, I guess I had to actually, Okay, fine. I guess I'll just press on this then. Oh my god, why does it keep doing this? When the kids had been made beyond recognition by the engine belts and surely died instantly. You see, now I don't understand. Now... Oh, I probably just had to turn off my keyboard and turn it back on. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes it doesn't register everything. The otherkin, with its face half covered in blood, panted faintly. As if we clung to its mother, or rather it took a meat that had been its mother, with the last bit of life it could muster. No wonder it also gave me that warning when I put the tag on for the story. Because I was wondering, it's like, damn, is it really going to be that graphic? I mean, I figured there would at least be some parts, but I thought I'd be pretty scarce, but already jumping into it from the get-go. Her father lamented their plight. The previous night had been especially cold. Ah, okay. Because I was like, why the fuck would they be in there? But I guess any form of shelter that they could access, considering it's not like they can somehow open the door to the car. After he had returned home yesterday, the cats must have snuck under the hood, drawn by the warmth of the engine. Ah, okay. Yeah, because I'm like, but in the morning it would have been cold. And like, he wouldn't have used the engine at all. But it's up next to the engine, and awoke into a storm of spinning belts. Cars in the 80s were not sealed particularly well, so this was not unheard of. Oh yeah, now that I think about it, yeah, they weren't really as secure back then. It was actually much easier to like pop the hood open and stuff, right? Her father's voice seemed distant. She could only make out a small tuft of the kin's gray fur. The rest of it was caked in blood of its mother and brother. You could see its skull. The fragile life of a speckled kitten. Trembling and possibly blind, it continued to nuzzle against its dead mother's chest. She took the kitten into her arms and ran deep into the mountains, to her grandfather's house. Was it because she was overcome with regret? Or was it the shock of grief? Years later, she still wasn't sure. Fighting back the welling tears, she burst into her grandfather's workshop. Her grandfather was a magician who could do anything. She'd never seen magic. She knew that magic was a fantasy straight out of fairy tales. But so was her grandfather. She had to find him. He was the only one who could help. The cave-dwelling magician said indifferently. This kitten needs our help, she pleaded. Whether it was a simple task, or Herculean labor, her grandfather would not say. He simply granted the girl's childish wish like a machine. What? The girl said. Before she knew it, however, she was holding a tiny corpse in her hands. Its fur was cold. The warmth of life had left its body, and the tears she had fought so hard to hold back poured from her eyes. Regret spread through her chest like an endless gray sky. Her mind struggled to come to grips with what had just occurred. The last 10 minutes were a total blank. Who she met, what she had known, it was all as if it had never happened. The only thing she was sure of was that life, when it's extinguished, can never return. That day, it was her mistake that gave birth to me. Indeed, whatever occurred that day was a day of nostalgia and longing. This is the fairy tale of 8 years ago, the day they first met, that no magic can ever bring back. Wait, was she talking about me, the narrator? Interesting. Arrogant, greedy, and able only to destroy. I must be a wolf. I don't have regrets. There's no looking back. My pride has left me behind. My sincere condolences. But at any rate, I suppose it's my fate to die at the hands of the Little Red Riding Hood. Strange one. I'm assuming this is chapter 1, so I'll just say it like that. Chapter 1, Strange One. It was a quiet morning. From her bed, she could see the sky was an ashen watercolor gray. The thermostat displayed 43 degrees Fahrenheit, a rather unforgiving temperature for November. Stomach woke her up with a growl, pathetically reminding her that she had completely missed breakfast. But lazy mornings like today's were, for her, a blessing. It was already well past 8 in the morning, and any ordinary weekday tardiness would be unavoidable. But today, classes were canceled in commemoration of the school's anniversary. Gratefully, she had every intention to take it easy for the first time in ages. Outside the window was a gloomy gray, reminding her more of evening than morning. It wasn't a pleasant morning by any stretch of the imagination, but having been up all night until just 3 hours ago, she couldn't care less about the weather outside. All she cared about was more sleep. As long as she could spend her morning in bed, what was happening outside was of no concern to her. She shut the curtains, then closed her eyes and tried to let sleep reclaim her.
せめてあと2時間ぐらいは凡庸な夢を見ていられますように。
Blissful slumber found her soon enough. Her consciousness faded. However, a simple request would be mercilessly refused. A faint but shrill sound lingered in her ears. It was the unmistakable ring of a telephone. Much to her chagrin, her eyes popped open out of habit.
こんな日に限って。
The telephone was situated in the foyer on the first floor. Answering it meant walking down a 30-foot corridor and going down a flight of stairs. In her sleep-deprived state, that distance seemed somewhere between incredibly far and astronomically far. I like this chick already. The phone's incessant ringing continued. She knew the caller would eventually give up if she ignored it, but she chose to fight the urge.
アリス出ないの？
She thought her housemate would get it, but she soon had to abandon all hope. The realization struck that her housemate did not have the day off from school and was likely in class at her prestigious little hilltop academy. The caller proved incredibly persistent. The persistence made the volume of the ringing seem even louder.
もうせっかくの安眠を。
Okay, before we continue, I am actually going to configure this a bit more. Let's see. Let's go to audio settings. Yeah, I think that's where the sound effects can go. We don't really have enough music, so I'll probably just put it here for now. I think the volume, take it down 2 notches. I think that'll work. Yeah, I think I'm good with that. How do I go back? I press X. Yeah, there we go. I'm learning. She was left with no choice but to get up, throw her top on, and leave the room.
うわ、寒。
She rubbed her hands together to warm her numb fingers. The mansion's heating system was inadequate, to say the least, which meant that winter was the very worst of uninvited guests. Never more so than on a dreary morning as this, when one didn't need to use a thermometer to know how cold it was. The mansion sat in the mountains. It was surrounded by a dense forest. Winter always arrived here first, before moving on to nearby towns. The robotic ring of the telephone reverberated throughout the long hallway. The mansion's furnishings had been so perfectly maintained that it made the place feel unlived. It seemed lonelier than it did splendid. Coupled with the dreary morning, it could have passed for a haunted house.
ま、幽霊屋敷そのものだけど。だいたい2人で住むには広すぎるのよ、この家は。
I think the volume's fine. I mean, the voice may be a bit loud, but if anything, I kind of do need to hear it anyway. And I don't want to put it too close to like how the music volume is and the sound effects volume is, because it might just clash with each other. Which reminds me, I need to do something about that in Wuthering Waves eventually. But I'll get to that when I get it. She counted more than 30 rings since the first began. God damn, this person's persistent. I would hate that person. If anything, I'd probably just unplug the phone and be like, whatever, not my problem. Because seriously, that... I can imagine who would be on the end of the line for that. Like, not even people who advertise on the phone would be there for that long. I think even they would, like, have some common sense in thinking, oh, okay, yeah, they're never going to answer. They don't want our services. I'll just move on and go to the next one on the list. The caller either had a lot of free time on their hands or had a good understanding of the house's circumstances. She had a strong hunch that it was the latter. Yeah, probably. The window above looked out onto a gloomy sky. She hastened to catch the unrelenting ring in the act as soon as possible. Though she had a feeling that her happy morning might come to a close the moment she caught it. It was here that a series of incidents began. Apologies for the lack of romance to this tale. Wait, what? Wait, is it talking about, like, that it happened in this site, or are you talking about, like, in this game, this is where a series of incidents will begin? I'm confused. I thought I was the narrator. For whether it be objectively true or merely supposition, it is always from gloomy and unassuming beginnings that extraordinary events are set into motion. Oh, okay, yeah. So this is where it actually starts. Okay. I thought we were saying, like, the history behind this place, considering she said it was a haunted house. Okay. Wonder if they'll play an opening for this game or not. I'd assume not, considering it didn't. Oh, never mind. Okay. And here I thought we weren't gonna get an opening. Scenario Kinokanasu, of course. Who else would it be? Oh, goody. I mean, at least I don't have to worry about getting copywritten. That's something. And also, uh, I talked about this randomly, I think, in the Wuthering Waves stream, I think. But, dude, come on. How much longer is LeBron gonna keep holding out on what team he's gonna go to? Like, seriously, just say it already. What difference does it make? You literally just said you had all the intel you needed and got all the facts and all the offers. There's no reason to delay it any longer. What's the fucking point? I swear. Like, seriously, that dude. He's gonna wait till he gets like on like a mainstream channel this time, isn't it? He's gonna wait to be on like Fox or NBC or who knows, maybe he'll do a special on TNT or go on ESPN live and be like in who knows, maybe he'll be on like a giant football field to announce it to the world on the big screen. If anything, I could definitely see LeBron doing that. Anyway, the rain subsided somewhat by the time she reached the school gate. Oh, okay. So she just ended up ignoring the phone call. I mean, to be fair, I would too. So they seem to be playing peekaboo behind the clouds in the distance. It looked like it might be cleared up by early afternoon.
と言っても私には関係のない話だけど。
The weather reflected her luck. Is red gonna be the theme of this game? I swear. Because we love doing the color themes in games, right? When it came to Persona 3 Reload, it was all about the color blue. And Persona 4 Golden, I mean, obviously yellow. Who cares? On top of being forced out of the house at such an early hour, she had to suffer through winter rain. I would hate that too, because I mean, look, I'm used to the cold weather, or if anything, I like the cold weather more than the hot weather. It's just like you have to deal with rain on top of that. I hate that. Getting a bad feeling about this. The sinking feeling she had only grew as she passed through the entrance and headed inside. Well, she's just going to school, but then again, it kind of sucks to go to school. She didn't encounter any of her students along the way. Wait, what? Are you serious? Nor did she see anyone taking part in club activities either. Wait, I thought she said today was off. The reception desk to the faculty room simply read faculty closed. What? Oh, was the phone call, did it have to do with like coming to school or something? Or maybe she just expected like it's a holiday from classes, but maybe people in like sports clubs and other extracurriculars would be here. The school given all of its students the day off, except those explicitly summoned, like her. Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah, it is supposed to be a day off. She's not supposed to be here, but she was called here. I see. A fact that irked her more and more as the minutes passed. I'd feel very uncomfortable in a situation where I'm in a giant school, but I'm one of the only few people there. Like, seriously. Like, I think the latest I've been to a school is like probably 6 or 7 when I had to do like a Science Olympiad stuff back in high school. But that was like a long time ago, though. Or actually, no, because we also had the award ceremony that we had to do for like some of our competitions. So I guess it would be like towards 8 or 9, and then we take the bus back to our school, and then we get picked up after. So I guess that's not technically true. She opened the door to the faculty room and headed toward the desk she had visited a number of times before. The man at the desk wore a plain shirt and suit that were nonetheless neatly pressed. Sun-framed glasses adorned his face, giving off an amicable yet cunning air. Ah, of course, it's got to be the sunglasses. The mild-mannered image this mid-20s man presented clashed with the cigarette he smoked. He didn't appear to have noticed her yet.
Yamashiro sensei.
Wait, she said Yamashiro? But there's no H. Maybe it's a typo. She closed the door with a bang. Showing no response to the sudden sound, Mr. Yamashiro lifted his head.
やあ、おはよう、青崎くん。要件は聞いているかな？
はい。1時間前に自宅で事前に何の相談もなく。
Having graduated from this high school himself, Mr. Yamashiro was not much older than the rest of the students. For that reason, the students preferred him over the other teachers. Oh, 1 second. I think I'm gonna Let me lower this a bit. 2 ticks. Yeah, I think this works. Okay. Let's see how it works now. Alright. He always had something interesting to talk about and kept conversations casual. In fact, he seemed more like an older student than a teacher, but she unfortunately didn't share her fellow students' fondness for him. She was of the opinion that teachers should come across as more austere. I mean, it depends, because there are some young teachers where it's like, they can be cool, and it's like, maybe because they're from, like, closer to your generation, that they can be more relatable and make the lessons a bit more comprehensible or much easier to absorb, because they know, oh, okay, if I was in their position, I wouldn't really absorb this knowledge, but if I do it a different way, maybe it would. But in some cases, the teachers may be a bit more immature and think like they already know how they should teach kids, like how it was for their teachers as to what it does and works, and then if you try to critique them at all, they'll be like, no, I'm the one who got a degree for this. I'm not saying I experienced the latter form, but it's like I could see the potential in that. And yeah, I guess technically with age comes wisdom, but that's not 100% all the time. Sometimes it's like there's the age, but it's like they don't have the motivation or drive. Sometimes, not all the time, but y'all know there are definitely some cases. We probably have all at least had one teacher like that. So, I guess it depends on who you are. Like an iron fist that could conspire both love and hate in equal measure. Not a buddy to joke and pal around with. It was the exact opposite of how she felt a teacher should be. It was only natural that her manner towards him would be forced and unfriendly. Really? I don't know, maybe it's because more of her personality, or maybe she just, like she said, maybe he would seem or come across as unreliable because of how young he is, like she said. Not that she'd ever been wired to make friendly small talk.
今日もご機嫌斜めみたいだね、君は。
But why do you think I am? You called me to school on my day off.
それは先生の気のせいです。今日だけ特別という話ではありませんから。
I guess I'll try to give her a voice similar to Velvet, but less of a hard-ass kind of voice. Well, at least I'll try to in some instances when I'm doing my own ad-libs. Just because it's like, she kind of does come across it. If this is the same Aozaki from Melty Blood, I guess it does kind of make sense. Because she was pretty upfront about how she felt and everything. At least whenever she made her, like, or put any quotes or, like, phrases in the game. The matter-of-fact answer perfectly matched the displeasure displayed on her face. Well, if that's even the person I'm playing as. Well, I mean, I'm assuming so, but whatever. Her bad mood from having to get up early and the tiredness from staying up late must have collectively made her look positively adversarial. They really are going with an enhanced vocabulary here. But hey, I'll still attempt to flow with it. Why not?
そうならいいんだけどね。彼にはそう辛く当たらないでくれよ。僕らじゃ正直どう扱っていいかわからないところもあるし。
Because like I said, I've been through a lot with punishing Grey Raven. It's prepared me for this.
先生、
At least I hope it has.
その件ですけど、私まだ詳しい話を聞かされていないのですが。
Wait, what? You brought me here to guide someone else? You're the fucking teacher. Why am I doing it? As Mr. Yamashiro met her piercing eyes, he finally understood the reason behind her tone, and slowly put out a cigarette.
電話じゃあなんて聞いたの？
転入生の紹介をすると
Ah,
だけです。
okay, transfer student.
理由も脈絡もない説明でした。
Okay, I thought it was a guest to the school, like a supervisor or inspector or something. Oh, okay, so it's gonna be that guy's. Okay. And Mr. Yamashiro's eyebrows stood up, impressed by the brevity of her answer. You can see that she was angry, not because she'd been called to school on her day off, but because she hadn't been told why she was here. Chuckled sympathetically.
先生、これが笑い話ならそろそろ帰っていいでしょうか。
いや、ごめん。 謝るよ。冗談じゃなくて真面目な話なんだ。
本当に転入生の問題で。
うん、訳ありというか難しいというか。彼宗十郎くんと言うんだけど、ちょっといろいろとずれていてね。僕らが案内してあげるより同世代の君の方が適任だと思ったんだ。
Okay. Sojo. Okay, I'm used to Sojiro. 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 Okay. It's gonna take me a while to actually pronounce that correctly, because I know I'm messing it up partly. Maybe I'll better be able to comprehend it when the person in question actually gives an introduction. She threw him an unamused look. It was negligent to end up be pushing teaching duties on her. But she did wonder how exactly this transfer student was peculiar. Maybe he meant the student had behavioral problems or was difficult somehow. And why her all of a sudden? Don't you have like a class rep or something that would work better? But peculiar? She didn't have the slightest idea what that meant.
ずれてるなんてそう使わない表現だけど。
True. She had her doubts but swept them aside for now. This wasn't the time to get distracted by more concerns. The fact remained that this conversation was all the peculiar she could handle, and she needed more information. She was already beginning to fantasize about saying no, curling up in her warm bed at home.
一つ質問があります。
See, I like this chick. Yeah. We're definitely on the same wavelength. Well, at least partly.
何？あ、学年は君と同じ2年生だよ。性格は落ち着きがあって人の話をよく聞くタイプ。裏を返せば覇気がないとも取れるけど、それならそれで付き合いやすいだろ。
Oh, shut up. You know that's not what I'm asking.
青崎くんとはクラスは違うけど、きっと仲良くな。
Huh? It's not even in the same class? Then why the hell are we getting picked? Seriously. Like I said, wouldn't it make more sense for the class rep to do it? Or, I don't know, a student council president who's basically the main impression of the school? Or of the student body? What the hell, man?
そういったことは本人から直接聞きますし、計りそうではなく、なぜ私なんでしょうか。
Thank you. See, we're asking the same questions now. Though her tone was still stern, it was clear that she was willing to cooperate. She decided to put her feelings of dissatisfaction aside and focus on the task at hand. Forcing herself to act apathetic in spite of her self-absorbed nature was something she was used to. Yeah, because I mean, it's not like he would change his mind and be like, oh, okay, fine, you don't want to do it, I'll get someone else. Because clearly there's some reason. Considering they're not even in the same class. Paradoxically, this force of will was also the reason teachers put so much faith in her. To a point. At times, her strength shattered expectation, and on those occasions, they were left with no choice but to treat it like a natural disaster, weather it until it passed. That was how Mr. Yamashiro came to deal with her over the past year. What has this girl done over the school year? Like, I'm curious, what is up with these impressions of her?
もう一度だけ聞きます、山城先生。それで、
Ah, damn it, I accidentally pressed the button. Pressured by a question without a clear yes or no answer, he answered.
それはね。別に青崎くんが先生方に敬遠されているのと同じぐらい信頼されていて、学校のためなら教師も生徒も一緒くたに切って捨てる鉄の生徒会長だからじゃないよ。
Wait, what? What? Wait, she's a student council pres? Then why are you being annoyed by this? Don't you usually get asked to do like meetings and shit all the time, Mr. Prez?
それ以外にこんな呼びつけを受ける理由はないと思いますけど。
Because also, if anything, that would make the most sense. Her eyes had nothing to hide her disbelief as she glared at him. Strength far beyond that of an ordinary 17-year-old girl, coupled with the youthful beauty of one. Damn, what exactly? What has she done in gym class? What, has she broken world records or something? Mr. Yamashiro let slip a genuine smile, admiring the miraculous balance of qualities.
いや、責務だけでいいなら僕がやってるさ。この人選に関しちゃ教師や生徒会長といった役職も関係ないよ。
Seriously?
なんていうか、こんな頼みを損得抜きで聞いてくれるのは君だけだと思ってね。適任ですからと強く推薦したわけ。
But he's just a transfer student. What kind of scenario do you think this is that's like she's the only one who could handle such a situation? Because again, it's like, okay, she's the student council pres. I get that. But again, it's like, if it's just how to get used to his classes and everything, why not just have the class rep? Or his homeroom teacher, for that matter. Good sir. In other words, he knew she wouldn't say no.
山城先生
Yeah, come on, answer the question, goddammit. No dodging
うわ
it.
怖っもう睨まない睨まない言ったろ僕にはともかく彼には笑顔でって
Look, if you don't answer my question, I'll be the one to stuff you in that locker myself.
とまあ納得してくれたならすぐに移動しようもう随分待たせてしまっているからね
You still haven't answered my question.
それと雨の中ご苦労様帰りはもちろん車で送るよ
Yeah. He really is just glossing over it. How peculiar is this student to the point where it's like, you're not even gonna tell me why it has to be here? I'm good, thanks, she replied before turning and walking out the faculty room. Okay, in part ways it's kind of like a slice of life anime, but you get definitely some unusual details. He'd been waiting for about an hour. While he did, the rain shower lined into a drizzle. His mind wandered as he listened to the sound of the raindrops. Is this the perspective of the transfer student? The room was filled with neatly arranged rectangular tables. He was the only one there. Quite some time had passed since he had been brought to this room and asked to wait. Even the best behaved student might have grown dissatisfied or anxious with the situation by now. But the boy stuck to his post like a scarecrow. He was chilled to the bone. It was the end of November, and the low temperature in the morning had marked the start of winter. The room was not much warmer. The heater hadn't been turned on. Either he missed the teacher telling him to turn it on, or he'd never seen one in his life. He breathed lightly on his freezing fingers as he aimlessly surveyed his surroundings. This dreary place was apparently a meeting room. The other students might have considered it a wonderful place to meet, but to him it was drab and overly spacious. It was a lifeless place that reminded him of an arid cave. Stuck in this cold room with absolutely nothing to do, his mind turned to what they wanted to discuss. Unable to come up with a solid answer, he returned his attention to the sound of the rain. The rain hardly resembled the rain in the mountains, though he could still recognize it, barely. Its smell and sound were harsher, but at the end of the day, the rain was still rain. So even this world, alien as it was, could have something in common with the mountains. The trivial detail perked him up a bit. Was he been homeschooled or something? Because I guess in that case, maybe you would want someone really trusted and someone who would take the time to actually make sure the student's doing all right if you're transitioning from homeschooling to a public school. He liked how the town looked soaked in rain. Naturally, he preferred sunny weather, but he liked the rain in his own way. The fog from the rain had soaked up the scent of the soil and reminded him of home. It was at times like these that he was able to numb the anxiety the city gave him. Okay, so he's from the sticks. Makes even more sense. But then he let out a discouraged sigh. How pathetic. He'd already been here 2 weeks, and thoughts of his hometown still made him sad. As feeling that he was being unfair to his new life, he composed himself and continued to wait patiently. As if having a passion for distractions, his attention returned to the sound of the rain once more. Waiting like this didn't seem to be particularly hard for him. He quietly endured the numbing cold and the hour alone with calm, deep breaths. Oh, I just realized. Is he wearing bandages around his neck? Or is he just wearing that, bandages all across, the top half of his body under his shirt? Is that normal? As the saying goes, good things come to those who wait. A strong point of his or not, he was astonishingly patient. It was certainly helping him out in this moment. Wow, it really is like I'm going to a movie or something. But then again, I guess that's the point of a visual novel. She, on the other hand, was livid. Same. The profile of the transfer student had been explained to her on her way to the meeting room. Oh, okay, good. So we are getting the details. She was told he had lived his whole life up in the mountains without any electricity. What? Damn, so he really was out in the fucking boonies. God damn. And here I thought it was homeschooling. What the fuck? Then how the hell is he even here? How does he even have to grades to be in a public school then? Well, then again, I guess someone could have in some way homeschooled him and then he would have passed the entrance exam. Maybe. Wait, but would he even take... I don't know how the whole entrance exam thing works, because it's like, could you just take it, like, just normally to transfer to another school that easily? Or would you already need records beforehand to be, like, you're qualified to take an entrance exam to a school? I don't know. Because again, this is kind of different from, like, how universities are, where it's, like, it's a conglomerate of, like, SAT and ACT scores, your SOLs, what's it called? Your regular grades, your credit, your extracurriculars, and all that. So it's like, I don't know how that would work here when it comes to these, because these are kind of like private schools, aren't they? Because like the uniforms and stuff. That meant more than half of civilized society would have been an utter mystery to him.
なんて絶望的な断絶。戦後どころか戦前の話じゃない。ロビンソンにも程がある。
She had every right to be angry. His village had apparently remained isolated in the mountains for many years. Contact with villages in the foothills of the mountains only occurred once a month or so, which was unfathomable in modern Japan. Seriously? Dude! Sissy, what do you even do? I can't imagine living a life like that. Although expressways in Japan Rail, the old national railways, now spanned the country like arteries, it wasn't entirely impossible for mountain villages like his to exist. Yeah, because I mean, there will always be places like that. In some fashion. But you couldn't imagine how someone born to such circumstances would think or live.
電気がないって、村に行き渡っていないだけで、公衆電話ぐらいはあったんですよね。
Like, seriously. At that point, it's less like us actually showing him around the school. It's like, well, we're gonna have to babysit him throughout his entire stay in town until he graduates? Like, what the fuck, man?
なかったそうだよ。こっちに暮らすようになってまず驚いたのが電話だそうだし。
Oh my god, we are so boned with this shit-ass job. What the hell, teacher?
電話って便利ですねなんて真顔で言われてね。そういえばそうだなぁと再確認させられたぐらいだよ。
She shot a sidelong glare his way as he laughed. It seemed that the naivete of the country boy had cheered up Mr. Yamashiro a bit.
駐在もいないってことか。うちも実家は山奥ですから、電気が通っていないのはありえないとは言いませんけど。そいつ、学校も知らないんですか？
Wait, what?
うん。どんなものかは知っていたそうだけど、
Huh?
実際来るのは今日が初めてらしい。
What?
それで緊張していたのかな。あまり会話も弾まなかった。
He's never even heard of school. Then what the hell is he even doing here? Bro! This is ridiculous!
ああいうのも野生児っていうのかな。狼に育てられた狼少年みたいな。あ、いや、探検隊の話だね。
Wow, I can't believe you as a teacher are actually saying that about a student. Yeah, it seems kind of offensive, bro.
怖いな、青崎くん。冗談だって。そう、睨まないでくれ。
I mean, come on, dude, you're a teacher. Like, you can joke around, but, like, that's going a bit far, isn't it? Like, especially since it's a transfer student, it's supposedly his first time out in the real world, among a real community.
大丈夫。話してみた感じ、おとなしい子だったから。なんていうか、言葉の通じない小動物みたいな感じ？
Not really helping your case, Teach.
山城先生、その例え、気休めになってませんから。
Yeah, you tell him. She gave her blunt reply. She tried to simulate in her mind what life without electricity would be like. But the thought of it took her sour mood from bad to worse. After all, it was a world she had never known. She could understand why the teachers are getting up. She too wanted to give up and return to her warm bed, but her good enough pride was holding her hostage. Okay, you know what? Fair. Fair. At this point, it's like, yeah. But wait, that's why the teachers gave up? Are you serious? Bro, that's not a reason to give up on a student. Are you serious? Like, come on. Not only did the teachers believe she was up to the task, but also she believed she could do it. It wasn't that easy to go back on her word, no matter how bad things looked after the fact. Are you fucking serious? Nah, they just didn't want to do it themselves. Because they're like, we're not getting paid after school hours. So someone else has to do it. I was like, no, I don't want to do it. I'm not getting paid overtime, am I? Then, of course, hand it to a student who has nothing else better to do. And you can make it like, oh, student council president, of course, she has to do it. She has to think of the student body. She walked along the hallway, the rain pattering in the background. The meeting room was already in sight. For her brow, she fixed her long hair in anticipation of meeting the unknown stranger within. Her elegant strides were like those of a confident general going into battle.
いや、青崎くん、君を信頼してる僕だけど、念のため確認しておくよ。なんていうか、優しくね。
Oh,
でき
shut
れば
up,
笑
you.
顔とか作れないかな。
Like, dude, shut the fuck up. Do you understand the situation we're in right now? You're telling us, someone you dragged out of our house on a school holiday in the rain to come to school, not tell us what the job is, and then, after you explain just how unusual this is, and telling us that teachers don't want to deal with it, that we have to be that accommodating. I'm sorry, sir, but I don't know what fucking world you're from, but that's outrageous. That's asking way too much. Like, you're already pushing it.
作り笑いは苦手です。一応努力しているつもりですが。
Yeah, don't give in.
ああ、そうなんだ。それはよかった。いやー、ほんとよかった。青崎くんにも苦手なものってあったんだね。
Oh, now you're asking me to beat you up after gym class. His shoulders slumped the second they reached the meeting room. As he put his hand on the door, his eyes seemed to say to her, "Be nice, please." This only made her more irritated.
分かってるわよ。愛想が悪いってのは。でも笑顔なんて意識して作るものじゃないんだし。
You know, it is interesting. If this is the same... wait, actually, I can check that now, can't I? Yeah, I can go check in the configuration thing. Hold up. Yeah, in the voice settings. Oh, okay, it is. Yeah, Aoko Aozaki. Interesting. That is crazy. She's like, I know I can't fake a smile. Have you seen how she fights in Melty Blood? Like, yo, are we sure we're talking about the same person? I'll be interested to see how she goes on a complete 180 there. Okay, yeah. So we have Aoko Aozaki, Sojiro Suzuki. Okay. That was gonna be Suzuki, but Suzuki. And Kazuki Yamashiro. Okay. Okay, we at least have a number of other characters. Obviously the one in the top middle is gonna be the chick with the hat. Aside from that, I don't really know any of these other characters, supposedly, so we'll just have to see.
だいたいそういうインスタントな人付き合いなら飛び丸の方が向いてるって。
She sighed about her social shortcomings, but then it occurred to her that being called into school on a day off while sleep deprived wasn't anything to smile about anyway. Yeah, because also, dude, seriously, we also only just slept 3 hours. Like, come on, bro. She also thought the person responsible for this mess would be better off attending elementary school. Seriously, like, that's what's even crazier to me. You're telling me this dude has no understanding of an education, and you're dumping him all the way to high school already? You told us he was from the boonies. We're not even electricity. How the fuck are we supposed to help this guy transition to this much of the game when he's already skipped so many levels? Bro, we don't even know if he's capable of being here, of skipping all those levels. But seriously, what the fuck, Teach? And again, it's like, I don't know about like how you enter private schools and stuff like that, but it's like, again, wouldn't even have to take like a test or something to show that he's capable of attending this school. What the fuck did you guys even do before in the evaluation process to allow him to even come here? It might not be his fault, but neither was it her duty or obligation to do the teacher's work for them. At the very least, they could have used their brains and organized all this on a normal school day. Never complained she wanted to voice later. Yeah, because, again, that's the thing. At least you have more voices to come to a collective decision on. You really decide to do it on a day off like this. Because it's inconvenient for her, it's inconvenient for the student, and then it's like, you're just gonna assume that they both just accept it?
いや、というか敵。なんであろうと敵。
Wow.
悪いけど、情状酌量以前に敵。
You know, I almost want to feel bad for the kid. But again, it's like, what's he even doing in high school then?
間が悪いのはお互い様っていうか、ほんと、なんでよりにもよってこんな忙しい時に。
Says the girl who was busy trying to catch a couple Z's. I would never say that to her face, though. She'd probably deck me. Her pounding headache from a lack of sleep had boosted her aggression by 10%. Oh boy. No matter how harmless the guy on the other side of the door may be, anyone who disturbed his sleep was the enemy. Oh, great. Yeah, so he's already enemy number 1. Just as she was reaching peak annoyance, Yamashiro opened the door to the meeting room. The room slowly slid into view. She didn't care for formalities. Just looked straight ahead and stormed into the room. Found herself face to face with her most unusual opponent. Before we go on, let's see from another perspective. Wait, what? Are you serious? But we're just about to meet. What's the point? Wait, what the hell happened in that room then? Like, do we even actually need to see anything? Turning back the clock just a little. You don't have to do anything. For some, these words were a priceless luxury. For others, an unbearable torture. Oh, okay, so he wasn't only holding the window the whole time. For the proactive girl, it was definitely the former, though she'd be too suspicious of the motives of anyone giving her such a gift to accept. Wait, what? For the passive boy, it was definitely the latter. Oh, okay, hypotheticals. A bitter thorn that made him homesick, though at this very moment his mind was still distracted with the way for his face to reveal any discontent. He maintained perfect posture as he stared at the gray sky. He'd already waited a whole hour, but figured it must have had their reasons for making him wait. Wait, what? You're telling me you just dumped him here and didn't even tell him? Do you know how anxious he would be? Because all this new stuff, and you're just like, just sit here by yourself while I go do stuff, but I won't tell you what that stuff is. Bro, this dude sucks. Fuck you, Yamashiro-sensei. And as long as he had the sound of rain to soothe him, he could keep on waiting.
でもそろそろ9時を過ぎるのか。どうなんだろ
Oh, right. I was about to say, how was he telling that? But, right. He comes from a place without electricity, so I guess he'd know from, like, maybe the sun's position or something. He'd been vaguely keeping track of the time as he listened to the rain. Due to the holiday, the school building was completely silent, except for the pattern of rain on the window. The moon felt as damp as the air. It was then he heard the heavy clatter of footsteps approaching.
う。よかった。忘れられているかと思った。
You could hear 2 sets of footsteps, one heavier set belonging to an adult. He breathed a sigh of relief as the door stood open.
すまないね。随分とお待たせしちゃって。
The first person he saw was a man wearing glasses and an awkward smile. That's the Yamashiro, the one who brought me here.
ってあれ里中先生いないんですか？ひどいなあ。話し相手になってあげてと言ったのに。
Mr. Yamashiro scratched his head, looking increasingly apologetic. Never mind. Oh, okay, so there was supposed to be someone with him. I was gonna say, dude, because look, it's one thing if you leave a transfer student by himself in like a room in a school, but this guy doesn't know anything about modern civilization, and you're leaving him in a room with so much modern stuff without anyone to cater to his needs, answer his questions, or soothe his anxiety. Like, what the fuck are y'all doing? See, it's just the point that these teachers just don't give a fuck, and they don't want to. That's the real thing here. with a tight-lipped expression that made it clear she didn't want to be there. A dark-haired girl with a determined look in her eyes appeared. And there they met. And eyes linked up. And thus was the first encounter of many, as they say. Soju gulped. The sound of rain at the window faded into nothingness. That's when he knew. This was how it felt when time stood still. She blinked quickly a few times as if taken aback. Why was anyone's guess? The boy was everything she expected a naive country boy to look like. However, she felt something she couldn't understand. His eyes widened slightly as if taken aback. The reason was obvious. Putting his feeling into words was a different matter altogether, so we'll never know exactly what he experienced in that moment. Of course. That's when it hit him. He sensed he'd been touched by the hands of destiny.
紹介するよ。彼が転入生の静木宗十郎くん。で、こっちの彼女が静木くんの案内役。うちの生徒会長で休日を押して新しい仲間の案内役を買って出てくれた青崎青子くんだ。
Oh, shut up. You know exactly what the real introduction should be. I'm the student council president who was dumped this job off by the teachers who didn't want to do it. His voice and the sound of rain seemed distant. This is how they first met. Such was their start, for better or worse, like the ephemeral beauty of fireworks. Damn, already turning mysterious. And all we did was just meet each other for the first time. It was commonly believed among the students that Aoko was always in a foul mood. But this gossip was 90% prejudice, as Aoko simply didn't have time to be irritated 24/7. The reality was she simply didn't want to explain herself all the time, and therefore seemed angry about something, obvious or not. This idle gossip did, however, lead to her earning the title of one of the school's 7 deadly threats. Oh my god. The remaining 10% of the gossip was right on the mark. Aoko herself often had the feeling that her tendency to feel animosity towards harmless things was akin to what a chronic headache sufferer might experience. Today fell under that 10%. But today her anger was pure, and her childish and selfish display was befitting of her actual age. The meeting room was dimly lit, awash in the colors of the rain. To produce electricity costs, school regulations forbid the use of lights during the day. This was the setting the three of them found themselves in. Her first impression was that this calm demeanor reminded her of a field of wildflowers. In spite of his perfect posture, his overall air felt placid, tame even. And describing him was meek would be going too far. At the very least, he was passive. Even though his uniform, she could see that he was thinner than average. True. His dark hair was unkempt, and he came across as a wholly forgettable boy. If she had to take a look at him in a more positive light, she would describe him as a young man than a boy. Yeah, yes. It was his calm demeanor that made him seem more mature. Was that the cause of Aoko's reasonless reaction? He seemed almost too at home in the meeting room, and she was left with the impression that it was her and the teacher and not this outsider who were the guests here. She felt an unidentifiable aggravation building within her, almost as if her right to be here was in question. Aoko felt herself raising her natural defenses.
信じられない。私、今わけもなく怒ってない。
Wow, that's interesting. She hated not understanding things, her own emotions in particular. It pained her less than you would imagine for a perfectionist like her, but it still acted like a thorn in her side.
いやーほら青崎くん挨拶してあげなくちゃ。
Mr. Yamashira's attempt to relieve the tension was equally irritating.
挨拶
Didn't you already introduce me? There's no point. After casting a glance in the teacher's direction, Aoko turned to face the boy. From an outsider's perspective, it might have looked like a stare down. And in an instant, the culmination of her emotional state hurtled toward the innocent boy and skewered him.
Yeah, 待たせたね、しずきくん。
Wait, what? What's the point? This is the same scene. Hearing his name, Sojiro. Damn it, I'm trying to say it right. Sojiro. Damn it, I'm never gonna be able to say it right, am I? Get to her senses. His sudden gaze shook loose. He took a deep breath to clear his head. Choking it up to nerves, Mr. Yamashiro broke out a smile and turned to the girl standing beside him.
紹介するよ。彼が転入生のしずき宗十郎くん。
Sojiro. Okay. I'm probably gonna have to say it slowly. I'll just call him Suzuki. Because honestly, trying to say Sojiro is gonna be hard for me. I mean, I'll try my best to say it. Well, that's if I can remember, but still.
で、こっちの彼女がしずきくんの案内役。うちの生徒会長で休日を押して新しい仲間の案内役を買って出てくれた青崎青子くんだ。
Having been introduced by Mr. Yamashiro, the girl took a step forward. Her eyes were merciless. Her stare had unspoken threat to violently trample her opponent. Sojiro, on the other hand, managed to keep his own composure despite the shock of how confrontational she appeared. He'd never been greeted quite like this before, but supposed, mistakenly, that this was how people treated each other in the city. Ooh. What emotion. The exchange must look quite dramatic to an onlooker. A girl ready to brawl. An earnest country boy desperate to understand. It was a murderous limbo, especially for anyone in the room with them. Like Mr. Yamashiro, for example. He deserves it, the piece of shit. While he had thought he had made the right decision in choosing an honor student to help him out, she was in an inexplicably bad mood, and the tension here was undeniable. Seriously? You thought this was the right answer? Are you stupid? Like, dude, you even know her reputation here at school, because it's not like this is even the start of the school year. So, what the hell made you think this was going to be a good idea at all? It was this moment that I realized his failure. His realization had come far too late. Dude, are you that stupid, bro? How are you even qualified to be a teacher? One false move and this girl, for whom no problem was too large, would becoming a storm. Okay, I think that's an error. But become a storm that would rock the very foundations of the school. Just the almighty Joker card could bring either fortune or disaster. The sole teacher who had been present at the time would come to bear the blame for the scandal that ensued.
いけてる。二人とも気は合うようだね。
You shut up. Just stand in the background.
それじゃあ、僕はこの辺でいいかな。
No, if I'm gonna lose my day off, then you too. Not nervously as it crept toward the door.
僕は職員室にいるから、終わったら来るように。いいかい、青崎くん。なんていうか、生徒会長としての度量の広さを、この際僕に信じさせてほしいかな。
Mr. Yamashiro laughed, leaving the two in a lock-eyed state, one of which one set of eyes was doing all the glaring. All that remained in the room was an artless boy and a cross-armed guarded girl. Yeah, so who makes the first move? The two lingered in silence. They resembled shogi players agonizing over their first moves, though it was only Aoko who was reading so much into that situation. She decided to put her irritation aside for the time being. With no reason to feel revulsion for him in the first place, she sighed deeply and faced Sochiro.
まあいいわ。山城先生がヒルアンドンなのは今に始まったことじゃないし。それで、あなた名前は？
Her tone was nothing if not reproachful. No, he had nothing to he had done nothing to offend her. but the boy failed to pick up on it. He capable of such venom himself.
ああ、静木宗十郎かな。君は青崎さんだったね。
Damn it, I swear I know I've heard these voices before, but he's good. They always just piss me. Again, at some point I will have to do a. Someday I'm gonna take off a day of streaming just so I can like write the names of like voice actors and then put like, oh okay, characters from like games or anime that they're from, and then I'll have the list ready for another time. Because it always kills me not to know who it is. For whatever reason, he came across as happy in his response.
さんはいいわ、柄じゃないから。こっちはしずきくんでいい？
いいって何が？
だから呼び方。くんづけでいいかって聞いてるの。
Yo, Kanji boy. She means as to how she addresses you.
何よ？おかしなこと言った？私。
いや、すごく。
Seriously? The boy replied immediately as if in natural response, but quickly second-guessed himself.
いや、いいんだ。ごく一般的なんだろう。
Well, I mean, to be fair, I guess he doesn't really know what the normal platitudes are, so he kind of just has to, like, try to adapt by feeling the environment and such.
静木くんで頼む。君は青崎でいいんだよな。
Okay, good. So I could just call him Suzuki. Good. I'm actually gonna do that.
よろしく。
I'm gonna call her Alko, though. She followed her blunt reply with a swift turn away from him. While she was hardly thrilled at the prospect of the task at hand, it had been entrusted to her. It was a personal policy to see it through to the end.
悪いけど、優しくしてあげる気はないから。時間も惜しいし、手早く行くわよ。
それは助かる。やっぱり時間は大切だ。
Alko's blunt rancor was lost on him. I gotta say, I love Alko's expressions already. Like, you could definitely tell she's like a Fate series kind of character with the many different expressions she has. Probably as many as Reem. Humans tend to be overly conscious about being ignored, whatever form that takes. But despite being peeved at landing none of her attacks, Alko did her best to act professional and directed her guest into the hallway. I see. So it's basically like she's blowing punches at the punching bag, but she's seeing no progress into, like, making damage to it. There was no sunlight in the hallway, nor any sign of life. This is more like a prison than a cave that was the meeting room. As it dawned on Alko that the hallway matched her mood, she sighed once again.
まず聞いておくけど、山城先生から聞いたことは理解してる？
ああ、学校の仕組みについては分かった。この建物全部に同い年の人間がいるなんて、ちょっと想像できないけど。
そう、よかったわね。
Alko rubbed her forehead. This Sojiro kid had no idea what he was in for. Apparently, all he ever heard about school was that it was a place where a lot of people meant to study. High school teachers imparted to students their knowledge in various fields of study, while fostering discipline and creativity. Never did Alko imagine that she would have to explain the concept of school itself to someone. Yes, fundamentals were important, but this was absurd. She had serious doubts whether he could even handle classes. Stan Mashiro insisted that things would work out somehow. Yeah, see? Good! I'm glad. See? Alright, I'm really starting to like Alko. Because, again, she's asking the same questions I am. Like, bro, how the fuck do you think he's gonna survive in a high school? Like, are you serious? You know how many levels you're skipping to get there? Like, seriously, if you drop me off from, like, when I finished elementary school to then, like, let's say all the classes I took in my junior year, dude, I would have no idea what the fuck any of the stuff was. Because back then I took, like, probably 3 AP classes, I think. Because I took, like, AP Physics 1, AP Chem, and AP US History by that point. And don't even get me started on when I took, like, 5 APs in senior year, which was AP Calc AB, AP German Lang, AP English Lit, AP Physics 2, and AP Physics C. Yeah, and, like, I never actually even imagined myself being there someday. Hell, just taking all honors classes was already hard to envision in itself. To be fair, I never actually even did that. If anything, I got more closer to taking all APs than I did to taking all honors. So you managed to pass the transfer exam after all. Barely. Oh, okay, good. Good. Because I was gonna say, it's like, I'm pretty sure you have to pass an exam to see if you even qualify to be in the school. That's what I was thinking. So, okay, he did. Because I was like, there's no way y'all are gonna ignore the process of how Japanese schools work. Because, again, I don't know how it works even in, even just where I'm from in America. Like, I don't fucking know. I never had to transfer schools. I just wouldn't go about it.
ま、私には関係ないけど。
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they're in the same class. But, I mean, still, at least he passed. Echo grumbled mentally as she walked down the hallway. She consoled herself with the fact that today would be the only day she'd spend with this boy at a time. Or at least she'd try to keep it that way.
青崎、
He asked, calmly trying to get her attention.
何？
こっちも一つ聞いていいかな。
だから何？
I love it. She's just like, oh, okay, get it over with. Just ask me the damn question.
俺の気のせいだと思うんだが、君はまるで何かを睨んでいるように見える。
You know, I think these two are gonna be a class act. I just know it.
やはり、今朝は悪いものでも。
I mean, you're not entirely wrong. It's pretty observant. His gaze revealed earnest concern, as if asking her if she remembered to eat breakfast. But unfortunately, you asked the worst question to the person who already knows the answer. Like, seriously, out of all the people you could have asked that question, it had to be her. Like, it's not wrong, but in this case, it would have been better to keep it to yourself, because she's already at the boiling point. Anything more, and she's gonna explode. It's like another hammer to her head. Oh my god. It was true that Alko had been glaring at Soichiro the entire time. Dude, I love Alko's expressions, dude. Like we've had expressions and stuff like PGR, Loving Ways. They're at least trying to put a bit more into like expressions in Star Rail and HI3. But this takes the cake already. I love this visual novel's going with the aesthetic of like making the expression so obvious, at least for Alko. I love it. She's my favorite character already. Like Red Hot Daggers, in fact. Not just at him, but the universe. Even on her best days, her roommate used to remark, "Wait, she had a roommate?"
青子の視線は普通の人には厳しいわ。
Ah, okay, yeah. This will be the girl with the hat, right? The other main character of this story? Oh, okay, I didn't know they were roommates.
もう少し多くのことに寛大になるべきね。
Damn it, I know this voice too. Damn it, where have I heard this from? She'd been warned that her emotions were so naked on her face that people treated her like a powder keg. And how even could a boy be that he couldn't pick up on this? Well, I mean, come on! We literally heard about it. I think you can at least give him a pass one time. Just the one time. Please, Alko.
私をバカにしてるってわけじゃなさそうよね。この場合。
Just remember, he doesn't know any better. Calm down, Alko. Calm down, girl. You can beat up Yamashiro-sensei later. I promise. Hell, I'll even make sure to drag him to the back of the schoolyard so you can kick his ass. Even she found her own attempt to reassure herself unconvincing. It began to dawn on Alko far too late. That compared to her, this laid-back transfer student might as well have been on from another planet.
いいわ。言葉にしないとわからないようだから言うけど。あなたの気のせいじゃなくて、私は視線で遠回しに感情を表現してたの。いちいち声に出すのも、会話にするのも面倒だから。
In response to her words, the Martian clapped his hands together.
なるほど。どうしてそうしたいのかはわからないが、確かにそっちの方が手っ取り早い意思表現だ。
Oh my god. Wow, okay, so this dude's trying to rationalize like literally everything. He accepted her reasoning without argument. Though we still had no idea what kinds of emotions she was trying to express. It's as if he could hear the words, but didn't grasp the meaning. It's honestly crazy because I thought she was gonna be the expressionless one, and he was gonna be the one like being the more outgoing person, but it's the complete opposite. And I'll be honest, I like this way better. Because usually they do like the cool beauties who barely say anything or only act in the most important of times. Then the guy is just like, oh, it's just like literally wearing his emotions on his face, being too outgoing and being simple-minded. But I love how they're really like turning that idea on its head and going for something completely different here.
確かにずれてるわ、こいつ。
I also like how it really works in this visual novel too, because you really get to take the time to interpret their emotions when they're saying the lines. When it's like in a movie or an anime, it just slips by in the moment. Because as you absorb that emotion on their faces or their actions in like these still frames, it really starts to hit home more what the real meaning is behind what they're saying. Yamashiwa's words made sense to her now. What was odd about this boy went beyond naivety. Stranger in a strange land he may be, but it was only civilized to forgive him some jet-lagged induced confusion.
じゃ、とりあえずあなたの教室に行くから。
She regained her composure. Sojiro raised his hand and stopped in his tracks.
あと一つ。
Ako waited for Sojiro to continue. The boy was patient to a fault. She rubbed her forehead with her hand again, nursing a vague feeling of uneasiness.
これもちょっとした疑問なんだが、なんで君は怒ってるんだ？怒るのが商売とか、そういう家柄の人なのか？
What? Damn, he really can't pick up on the most obvious thing. Wow. Seriously, it's like I said, these two are a class act. I love them. I also love it, these long silences. Though she knew it wouldn't change the situation, she remembered her regret at answering the phone that morning. He meant no harm. She repeated this thought like a mantra in an attempt to keep her impulses in check.
別にあなたのせいじゃないから気にする必要はないわ。ただ、この一瞬とお昼まで眠っていた場合を計りにかけたら、あまりに利益の違いがあって頭を抱えただけよ。
With that vague answer, she started to walk again, and turned her gaze away from this rude stranger named Sojiro Suzuki. While what constitutes normal is certainly up for debate, most would undoubtedly refer to him as so. He was a simple and nice boy with nondescript features. If he were an ice cream flavor, he'd be vanilla. You know what? It's an accurate depiction. And Sojiro found Aoko to be very businesslike and full of life. There was a certain purpose to her movements as they began and ended in an orderly fashion. The way her finger raised when she pointed at things, the way she made her way across the hallways and classrooms, the way she would occasionally glance back at him to make sure he was keeping pace. Each and every movement was so impressive that he couldn't take his eyes off her. Aoko showed him to his classroom, Class C of the 11th grade. The room certainly displayed more of a human touch than the previous meeting room, but Sojiro was none the wiser as to its function. Aoko gave a brief explanation before they visited individual subject classrooms, as well as the gym, cafeteria, locker room, and school infirmary. Sojiro had so many questions that much time passed before they reached the AV room on the second floor.
まずいな。
He stopped, looking genuinely concerned.
あと20分経つと1時だ。
Huh? Oh.
嘘でしょ？うちの校舎そんな広くないわよ。
I mean, he is asking a lot of questions. Also, what's the problem? Tour had begun around 10, which meant that 3 hours had passed. Tour to school shouldn't take anywhere near this long.
そうだったわね。行く先々で根掘り葉掘り聞かれちゃ、そりゃ何時間でも経つわ。日
I
が
don't,
暮れていないのが不思議なくらいね。
I don't know. I mean, a couple questions adds a couple minutes, sure, but also the school shouldn't be crazy big, though. It's not like a university. Like, hell, even I know the difference between a like an organized school like this compared to like a university, because I at least got to see what a private school was like in Germany. She was being sarcastic, of course, knowing full well he would never pick up on it. To his surprise, he looked down apologetically, unable to hide his dejection.
なんだこいつ。ちゃんとしてるっちゃ。
The guy before and now was nothing like earlier. Unconscious of seeing his once impenetrable veneer, when they first met, she found herself feeling sympathetic. Momentarily, at least, until her irritation returned in full force.
で、何がまずいの？覚えることが多すぎてパンクしたなんて言わないでね。
いや、それもあるけど、学校のことは別にして、一時になるとまずいんだ。
His gaze wandered as if worried about something. If he was worried about the weather, he would have a hard time seeing it as there were no windows in this hallway. Yeah, because I'm like, what does it matter if it's close to 1? What, you hungry?
へえ、時間を気にするってことは用事があるのね。そう。人の予定を引っかき回しておいて、自分だけ好きなようにやろうって言うんだ。なんだ、顔に似合わずいい人ね、君。
いや、褒めても何も出ないぞ。
誰も褒めちゃいないわよ。で、それで一体何の用なの？
Sojira's face lit up as he finally understood what she was asking him.
そこは秘密にしておきたい。
Are you serious? You know we're doing this tour for you, dude. You need to give us the reason as to, do you want us to hurry it up? Do you want to reschedule? Do we just end it here for today? He said it with a perfectly straight face.
慣れ始めたつもりだったけど、こいつのこういったテンポの失神しそうになるわ。
Her frustration was natural. Still, she did everything she could to stifle her feelings and fake a smile.
しずきくん？
I love these transitions from like those different expressions. Took a step forward.
秘密だってば。
Feeling the mood change drastically, Sojiro took a step back. And another. And another. No matter how many steps he took back, she kept edging toward him. She was smiling, but he thought he could see the blood boiling beneath her skin.
これ、最後の質問にしとくわね。あなた、私をからかって楽しい？
He had no intention of mocking her, though at this point he doubted presenting any evidence to prove this would do much to erase that forced smile on her face.
わかった。説明する。
Good. His arms raised surrender. See, that's at least a good thing. That's the difference between me reading stuff here than in PGR. As a narrator, I can read in my own voice. Whereas in PGR, it's like, I don't have a problem doing my commanded voice, even though it's not that much different. But like, having to do it for everyone else can be kind of tough, especially for extensive periods of time. So, at least this I can do it my own way. She held her advance and freed her face from that unseemly smile.
実は1時からアルバイトがあるんだ。でもここはそういうの禁止なんだろ？
Seriously? You have a job? How do you have a job? You just got here.
そうだけど、あ、禁止されてるから秘密にしようと思ったの？バカね。それなら許可さえ下りていれば問題ないわよ。
Yeah, true, because it's like, you can, but as long as it's like, if there's a special condition, or there's a logical reasoning to it, or, if you have permission.
知ってる。試験の時に許可はもらってる。
へえ。
Aka's face lit up as she realized he might not be the piece of work she thought him to be. Yet.
しかし、許可は一つしかもらえなかった。
Huh? You have multiple jobs?
一つって、あなた掛け持ちでバイトしてるの？
Yeah, how the hell do you do that? Well, actually, now that I think about it, he probably would have to have multiple jobs, wouldn't he? Because how would he even get housing here? Yeah, because if he's from somewhere with no electricity, would they even have money around? I mean, I know this isn't like cryptocurrency or like anywhere near where like credit cards are too much of a staple, but would you even have cash exchange around or something? Hmm.
これでも2件減らしたんだ。
Huh? You quit too?
生活費だけで大変なのに学費まで稼がなくちゃいけない。なのに働き先は一つだけというのはあんまりだと思わないか。
Well, I mean, people don't usually have to pay for their own living expenses. At least, not students. Dude, why are you even in school if you can't even pay to go to school? Like, are you serious? Because seriously, it's like, how the fuck did he even end up all the way to a school then?
いや、あんまりなのはあなたの方だと思うけど。
Seriously, dude. Like, dude, if that was the case, no one would ever have time to actually study. Though still irritated, her opinion of him changed a little. She was impressed that he was able to take care of his tuition and living expenses all on his own. She could also empathize with having no time to oneself. Her anger began to subside, but he's gonna say something else, isn't he? The words part-time job were about the last thing she ever expected to hear out of this country boy's mouth.
そういうことなら仕方ないわね。いいわ、行きなさいよ。事情は分かったから。
青崎はいいのか？
She had no idea what his question meant, but she at least understood he was trying to be considerate, which also took her by surprise. She figured he'd be just as dense about people's feelings as he was about everything else.
別に。私もこのまま帰るから。
First, though, she thought it best that they both stopped by the faculty room. Mr. Yamashiro had mentioned that the transfer procedures had already been completed, so all that remained was for him to sign off on her duties.
先生、案内終わりました。
それはお疲れ様。しずきくんもお疲れ様。それで校舎を回った感想はどうかな？
ありがとうございます。なんというか、とても学校ですね。
そうかそうか。うん、明日から頑張りなさい。
What do you mean it's like a real school? It is a real school. What do you think this place is? She had no interest whatsoever in this pointless wrap-up meeting.
山城先生のことは気にしないでいいわ。教え子に厄介なことを押し付けてふんぞり返っているぐらい職員室が好きなんだから、何時間でも待ってるでしょ。いえ、待ってるべきじゃない？
そうか。青崎がいいんならいいんだな。
ん？
Huh. There it was again. Whatever Sojourner was getting at, Aoko had no idea.
それじゃあ行くよ。今日はありがとう。
What, is she like kind of like being the example for him as to like how he should live in this kind of society?
今日だけよ、今日だけ。
I mean, I guess maybe so, considering he does seem to spark some kind of interest in her. Or she seems to have, or make him have develop some kind of interest in her. I don't know how. Shoot him away with her hand. His face bent into a broad smile as if he found the gesture endearing. It was a softer expression that she had grown accustomed to seeing out of him. It was the kind of smile that would make anyone smile back. Well, most people at least. Aoko Aozaki didn't betray the slightest hint of a smile.
それじゃあまた。
は？
And with that friendly farewell, Sojiro walked toward the end of the hallway. Or so she thought before he turned to the next class over. Wait, what? Oh, shit. Yeah, now that I think about it. Does he even know his way around the school, like how to leave? Sojiro headed straight for one of the classroom's window. Wait, what? Whereupon he opened it with ease. The chilly November air filled the room. What the? He's gonna jump out the window to get to the ground? What, does he have superhuman strength or something? Or is this the power of magic? In an instant, she realized his intention when opening the window. She really wished she hadn't.
いや、待て待て待て！
He already had one leg at the window when she dashed to stop him.
何するつもりよ、あんたは！
何って、アルバイトに行くんだけど。
その窓は人が出入りするところじゃないの。
You do know you entered a door. Wait, how did you even get into school then? Did you jump in from the window?
だいたいここ何階だと思ってるの？
Yeah, I was gonna say, is like, we've been taking a tour for a while. Wouldn't we be on the higher floors? And it's like, we can see the treetops too, so we definitely should be at least like, maybe third floor. She saw a light of understanding dawn in his eyes.
死ぬところだった。2階から降りたら危なすぎる。
She killed!
危ないのはあんたの頭。
Dude, wait. Are you telling me you didn't even live in a house? Because how do you not know that you're supposed to exit through a door? Her insult went right over his head.
あのね、こっちじゃ窓から人は出入りしないの。さっき言っとくべきだったわ。
知ってるよ。時間がないんで慌ててたんだ。ありがとう。これからは気をつける。
In other words, he's basically saying he could survive jumping out the window. Supposedly. Pulled his leg back inside and closed the window. I swear, he's giving me this kind of eerie feeling because it's like, when I see this listless look on his face, it's like, I don't know if it's like, he's just like he's being neutral about the situation, or he's like, oh, okay. And it's like, there's no emotion behind it. Just like only basic understanding and nothing else. Like no consolidation, no regret, no pity, no embarrassment, nothing. School uniform was soaking wet from the rain.
いいけど、私は別に。
Wait, did he not have an umbrella either? Then how did he get all the way to school? Would he have been soaking wet?
あなたがどこから外に出ようが関係ないもの。ただ、できれば私の前ではやらないでほしいだけよ。それより、あなた、本当に明日から学校に来るの？
来るよ。不安だけど案内してもらったし。
He bid her farewell before running away down the hallway. She hoped he would walk down the stairs and lead through the school entrance like a normal person.
はあ、大丈夫なのか？あんなんで。
Good question. The image of him disappearing into the distance popped into her head, in spite of her ire. She had no intention of spending any more time with him, and yet she felt strangely anxious. She couldn't tell if the feeling was fueled by concern or irritation. Why had she even gotten angry with this insignificant transfer student in the first place? A strange day with a strange transfer student resulting in strange emotions. Her head tilted as she reflected on what should have been a more enjoyable day than the irritating experience she just had.
いっか。どうせこれっきりなんだし。
The sound of rain echoed quietly all around her. The gray sky seemed frozen in time. It was impossible to discern whether it was morning or evening. Mr. Yamashiro and Aoko were likely the only ones left at school. The unlit classroom looked overly gloomy and ominous as Aoko stood in it alone. She pulled up her left sleeve. Her dainty, unremarkable watch showed it was almost 1 o'clock.
時間、合ってる。
She looked at the window of the grounds below. Saw a boy in a uniform running through the rain without an umbrella. A sight she must have seen before, but for whatever reason it affected her far more than she wished. Yeah, so what? Did he really come to school without an umbrella? Aoko didn't stop by the faculty room before heading home. When Mr. Yamashiro's offer to drive her home was tempting, she decided it would be ultimately far more satisfying to ruin his day just as he had hers. She walked as quietly as she could toward the entrance and opened her bright red umbrella. As she had predicted that morning, the rain was waning in the afternoon. At this rate, it would probably cease completely in an hour or so. The distant sunshine would likely have reached her by the time she arrived home.
ま、それも悪くないか。
She shrugged her shoulders in resignation. She neither liked nor disliked the rain, but she found herself enjoying her walk home with her red umbrella in hand. The teachers at Misaki High School weren't fond of bright colors, so Ako's red umbrella was an unusual sight. A ghost story about how the umbrella was once pure white had been making the rounds, but it featured Aoko instead of a ghost. It was with that umbrella that she had made her way to Misaki Station. Misaki Private High School took its namesake from the town it was in. The area was once a sprawl of farmland and woodland, but rapid growth over the last 10 years had led to unprecedented modernization. There were some who fought to preserve Misaki's natural treasures.
残すことには賛成ですが、それでは残すだけになってしまうでしょう。
With those words, the mayor snuffed out the voices of the minority and ushered in a long-term plan for the new urban development. More than enough funds for the urban development were collected, and the unassuming town of Misaki became the largest municipality of Misaki City in nearly 10 years. Even though it lacked the modernity of neighboring Yashirogi, or the elegance of Misaki Hills.
それも当然よね。どういじくってももともとが山中の宿場町だし、山ごと切り崩すって言うんなら別だけど。
Urbanization had been contained to the lowlands around the station, most of the hills and mountains still standing as they did 10 years prior. The exhaustion of funds succeeded in protecting the old Misaki where the citizens could not. It became a truly odd suburban town, welcoming an increasingly urban population with its vestiges of old country charm. Misaki High School was a private school established long before the town's current state. The original campus, built 50 years ago, was located high up in the mountains, making its current location its second incarnation. The path of the old school grounds was not only steep and remote, it had become an overgrown game trail the passage of time. For these reasons, among others, Misaki High School had been shuttered until almost 20 years ago, when it received a donation from a department store chain that allowed for the construction of a new campus in the city. Yeah, because I was going to say, what happens to the other one then, if this is the second one? Thus, Misaki High School reopened its doors, the old woodland campus forgotten. So wait, what? It still stands? In fact, most of the students attending Misaki High School were not from Misaki at all. The hardly rustic people of this country town preferred prefectural schools to private ones. Oh, okay, so this isn't a private school, it's just a prefectural school. Okay. I guess that actually makes more it makes more sense as to how he was able to get in here, right? Because if it's not a private school, then the exams probably wouldn't be as hard or that heavy in the context compared to private schools. Truth be told, Ako herself was one of them. All she had wanted after junior high was to move to Tokyo, where she hoped to spend her days touring her favorite bands on her way to entering a public university. But her hopes were dashed with her sister's departure, so here she was, walking alone in town, with only a red umbrella to keep her company on what should have been a day off. Oh, so she wanted to go to the big city. Interesting.
思い返してみると、私の人生ってなんか災難続きっぽい。
Frustration evaporating into the cold December air.
でもいっか。退屈だけはしないわけだし。
Those words broadened a bit as she left the school in her wake. The busier part of town met her at the bottom of the gently sloping road. Misaki's train station was brand new. Once looking no prettier than an abandoned factory, it had been renovated into a multi-purpose structure with huge department stores on its east and west sides. When the department stores first opened, Aoko and her friends had been impressed with their modern feel. But in time, the stores too became dated. She had no shopping to do today, so she passed them by. What she really wanted to do was rest at a cafe, but she felt the urge knowing her roommate would never let her hear the end of it as she frittered away her money. Huh? What's going on? She looked back and blinked. For just a moment, she could have sworn she had seen someone suspicious in a red dress out of the corner of her eye. Wait, what? Red dress? Look at that, I don't know anyone. It must have been her imagination. The 6-inch chill she was experiencing down her spine was a familiar one at this point. Oh, okay, so someone she knows? She continued to walk home, brushing off the event as if it had never happened. In time, the chill faded, and all that was left was the sounds of the town. Damn, I didn't get to see the person, though. She sighed heavily. She imagined it? Even if it had been all in her head, it was far from comfortable with the feeling that still lingered.
夏場の方ってもう少しこう
She grumbled under her breath.
波乱万丈、商売繁盛、諸行無常と。そうそう、忙しさに愚痴を言っても始まらないわ。
Unfortunately, summer and bugs go hand in hand. She could see how bugs could be drawn to all the sweet fruit. Ooh. Where's this? Oh, is this Sojourner's part-time job? Rigged with grease and heat, the kitchen was closed for the time being. The lunch rush had come and gone. But one last battle remained. Dinner time. Only after the evening chaos could the kitchen crew remove their white armor and call it a day. In the midst of the war zone was a lone newcomer.
これ着るんですか?
His voice was uneasy, betraying how new he was.
気持ちはわかる。俺もどうかと思うけど、店長の言うことだから、もう笑顔で乗り越えてくれ。これも商店街の明日のためなんだとよ。本気で申し訳ないんだが、雨も止んだし、なんとか行ってきてくれないか？ 無事帰ってきたら晩飯おごってやっから。
Is he dressing up as like the mascot for the store or something? Or like a pasta? Yo, what's up, Asian Turtle? How you doing, man? I'm doing alright. I'm finally starting my first visual novel series in Witch and the Holy Night. So, I'm doing alright. How you been, man? Hope you're doing well. It's pretty cool. Yeah, honestly, I have to say, for a visual novel, it's a lot more entertaining than I thought it would be. Again, not necessarily an anime, but I mean, again, I really like the expressions we're seeing from some of these characters. Because also getting to see it on the screen much longer than like a video game is interesting. Have you played Pal World? No, I haven't played it. I know of it. It's like an altered, somewhat supposedly better version of Pokemon, right? So it's like I have an idea of it. Never tried it. Why? Is there like some news of it? Actually, now that I remember, there's supposed to be an official release for the game at some point, right? If I'm remembering correctly. It's pretty cool. Okay. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll try it someday. But yeah. Oh, by the way, finally got my pass for Otakon, so I'm all set. Now I just gotta make sure I have the money for it, which I pretty much do, but you know, just making sure. Grants? Thanks. Because I mean, unfortunately, when is it? It's at the end of the month, so that would be. I'm trying to check what specific day. It's from the 31st to the 2nd. But I'm only going for like the main 2 days because on the 2nd it's basically almost all done by that point. Again, I'm just mainly going to Otakon because unfortunately I could not have money saved up for Anime Expo, but I will definitely try to next year. I already missed this year, and boy do I kind of regret it. So I'm gonna definitely try to go next year no matter what it fucking takes. Even if I have to go by my fucking self, I will. His bright orange co-worker clasped his hands together as if to beg for forgiveness as he saddled him with this unreasonable task. Sounds fun? Yeah, it's pretty cool. Because, I mean, it's always interesting. Are you gonna dress up for Ever? I mean, probably not for Otakon, because, I mean, to be fair, it is kind of last minute. So, even if I wanted to, I wouldn't be able to, like, get any, like, real stuff set up. For Anime Expo, I mean, to be fair, I actually want to try cosplaying, but the problem is, like, you'd have to invest some money for it, right? Like, I'm not saying you have to go all out for, like, the materials and stuff, but it's like, if I'm gonna try to go to Anime Expo, that's already gonna be a lot of money in itself, because first, to pay for a ticket to go to California and back, and then you also have to pay for a hotel, Then, depending on how far the hotel is from the convention center, I'd have to pay for Ubers or figure out like what the bus schedules are and everything. And again, I'd probably still need a pass to even use those. So there's just a lot of stuff though. Food too, exactly. It's basically like planning a vacation, basically, and that takes a lot of time and investment. So it's like, if I had to cut down on something, it probably would be cosplay. Because also, the other issue is too, Anime Expo is always on around July 4th. So it's gonna be hot because it's already summer in the US, but it's gonna be hot as hell in California. So I don't know if I could cosplay and live to tell the tale, to be perfectly honest. Like, if anything, it'd probably be more sensible to cosplay. It's in LA, right? Yeah, it's always in LA. It's in the convention center there. Always the same one. Anyway, like I was saying, the only time it'd be sensible for me to cosplay would be what's it called? During MagFest, because at least MagFest is always in the winter. This next year, I think it's going to be in January. I think it's going to be somewhere around the start of January. I think they already set the date, but I don't think the tickets/passes are out yet. Me and my friend are definitely going to cop some when we get to it, and then we're going to try to reserve hotel rooms this year, because unfortunately this past MagFest we weren't able to go, but this next one for next year we're definitely going, and we're getting a room. We just have to figure out all the details from there. I think it's harder here than there. Is it? I don't know. I mean, it's hard to tell because, again, I've never been to California, so I couldn't say for sure. The only other place that I've been that's not the East Coast was Iowa for that small bit of time. But aside from that, it's like, I never been to the West Side, so I would have no fucking idea. The only thing I could relate it to is probably like when I went to Mexico and Peru, but you can't necessarily say that's the same effect you'll have in LA. Because also, just LA overall would be expensive too, so there's just a lot of stuff you'd have to account for. Actually, give me a sec. I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab myself a Pepsi. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, right, about Otakon, right. Also, this year Otakon gonna be special, because this year Sayu VTuber's gonna be there. That's right, Alejandro Saab, a voice actor in the anime community, is gonna be here. I missed my chance getting an autograph from Amelie/Lian Lee a couple years ago. So hopefully this time I'll definitely get an autograph from Sayu, because dude's awesome. I've checked his YouTube channel and stuff. I watch him in like the squad videos with Syriax, Rhymestyle, Dada Doya, and all them. And also his voice acting as Jin Yuan from Honkai Star Rail, Shiba Tatsuya from Regular Magic High School, and all that. It's gonna be pretty cool to see. Hopefully they're selling like Jin Yuan posters or something, so then I can get them to sign it or something, and then I can frame it on my wall. But that's just something I have to plan out. It's cool, yeah. I mean, I definitely recommend it. It's pretty fun at Otakon, especially like their little shopping market where you can get some like cool art or anime merch. Like they had so much last time. I almost got a figure there, but I was like, nah, I can just get it from AmiAmi, because I always keep accruing points from how many figures I have, bro. Like, seriously, like, I can't believe how many anime figures I have in my room. Like, when I think back to like how my room was at the end of high school to now, I would honestly be astonished. Like the young version of me, he would be like, "There's no way I actually did this, right?" Like this doesn't seem like anything out like the kind of room I'd have, but it's like it's my own kind of like little man cave-ish area, so at least it fits in. Where's your gaming setup? Is it in your room? Yep, have it in my room. Damn it, that's right. I keep forgetting to do this. I need to post the picture of my setup on the Discord. Damn it. Okay, I'll definitely make sure to do it after stream, because I do have pics of the setup already. I just need to put it there. And to be fair, I do have a picture of what my setup used to look like before I just got it updated. Or not updated, before I reorganized it and changed some things with help from my friend. Shout out to Digitaco. Go check out his channel whenever he does stream, because he's not streaming that frequently compared to before, but whenever he shows up, go check him out. He's a pretty cool dude, and he's actually the one who helped me with my setup and everything. Or is it in the computer room? Nah, not in the computer room. That'd be kind of hard to do it because, again, you know, my living circumstances and everything. And to be fair, that room, it's like, it's too close to like the living room and stuff, so I'd get a lot more like outside noise if I had that problem, or if that's where I had it. So yeah, I just have it in my room. Which reminds me, man, we gotta hang out sometime. I should see if we can hang out in the summer, at least one day or something, like just to chill. We can catch up on shit. I'll definitely see if I can find time, because again, I'd like to introduce you to my friend from work back then, because again, he's the one who actually introduced me to MagFest and all this stuff, and we always hang out. Like, we go to movies sometimes, we go to MagFest together, we get rooms together and shit. So I think you'd hit it off with him too, honestly. So it would unemployed. Really? I thought you were working at your dad's place. Or are you just trying to look for something else at the moment? Unless it's too personal to ask right now. Again, like I said, whenever we meet up again, we can try to go into more depth about that stuff later. Anyway, let me at least advance this a bit more. "10 years ago, Misaki City was a town of farm and woodland. But everything had changed. The front of the station was now lined with tall multi-story buildings, and the residential areas were similarly full of apartment complexes. The once rustic scenery around the station had long become a thing of the past." Hey Ian, yeah, just searching right now, but I have a lot of free time. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, so you don't work there anymore. Is that what you're saying? But yeah, I'll admit, the job market isn't that easy to get to. I'll be honest, I was barely lucky to even get the summer job I have right now, if I'm being perfectly honest. I mean, I'm doing a lot more than I did in my past job before, in a retail store. But it's like, at least I'm getting paid more than I was before, so it's something. It's not the best, but it's an improvement. Oh, okay. Shiro-Inuzuka was the only place in the city that still contained vestiges of the old town, a pocket of the past inside an urban jungle. The road extended up a conspicuously tall high hill to an old residential district far from the hustle and bustle of the train station. Long ago, it had been considered unwise to build on high ground, so nobody lived above a certain elevation. Shiro-Inuzuka, sitting as it did atop a hill in the middle of town, was no exception to that convention. It had no residences to speak of. The asphalt continued for some time, eventually giving way to a mountain road that was swallowed into the cover of trees. A lone vending machine stood to mark the boundary between town and beyond. Wow, so he was like in the real rustic part of town. Even the children knew that there was nothing beyond the new playground and development that so enthralled them. Well, that wasn't entirely true. There was nothing besides the haunted house. Aoko Azaki traversed the long slope. Below her, she could see the whole Misaki. The symmetrical town looked like a miniature set from this height. It would look like a painting if there had been a scene next to it. But unfortunately, Misaki City was very much landlocked. I also got into Pokemon cards. Such an expensive hobby. Nah. Damn, you got into Pokemon cards? I thought you would have gone back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Or something. But damn, Pokemon cards. Yeah, to be fair, that isn't a crazy expensive hobby. Started playing Magic. Oh, you play Magic? Dude, the friend I was just talking about also plays Magic. He actually goes and plays in some like the local tournaments at one of the card shops near here. I don't remember which one it is. You should play. It's pretty fun. No, he introduced me to it. Uh, I haven't really gotten too much into it. It's not like I could say I could go and compete. Obviously not, but it's an interesting game. I will at least say for sure. But I get into it, I don't know, cause I mean, again, it's like I have Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but I don't really like play them at like locals or anything like that, or even at my local card shop. So it's not like I could say I could realistically see myself doing that. But if it's for fun, like just at home or something, then I maybe would at the very least. But yeah, Pokemon cards, dude, that's crazy. I honestly couldn't with how outrageous Pokemon has gone, especially with how Logan Paul ruined it basically. So it's like I couldn't. While it was overcast at the moment, the scene was quite breathtaking on clear evenings. The view was the one thing that made the arduous climb worthwhile, and today, she had been denied even that.
ああ、雨の日は自転車も使えないし、1日に2回ぐらいバスでも通ってくれないもんかな、ほんと。
Ako had been using this road to get to school for almost 2 years now, but the journey had never gotten easier. Damn, because, yeah, now that I think about it,
鍵閉まったまま？
she has to go up a high hill just to get home, now that I think about it. Shit. Like, seriously, having to commute to school walking? Like, look, I could do that from where I live to university, but if I had to do that from here to the high school we went to, bro, I'd be fucking exhausted. Couldn't be me.
アリス、まだ帰ってきてないんだ。
With a weary shrug, she put her hand on the rusty iron fence. Quietly, the heavy gate swung open as if to welcome her home. Yeah, because, again, she did say this was a haunted house. There sits atop that hill a haunted house. That is how the story much shared around town used to begin. But fresh rumors about the house had sprung to life almost as fast as the town's modernization. Despite being dilapidated and abandoned for many years, lights can be seen inside the house at night. An angry murder of crows often gathers atop the hill before mysteriously vanishing. Children get lost in the fog, never to be seen again. And at night, a shrieking sound can be heard all the way to town. This particular piece of slander was one Alco wished to discredit the most. The final rumor was an eye-catching luxury car that sometimes made its way up and down the hill. The rumors spread and grew by the day. And while they grew, the house that everyone thought had rotted away was restored over the recent years. Deep in the wood, on top of a hill no one dared to approach. Like a ruin shrouded from view even on the brightest of days. Stood a relic out of time, a building from a fairy tale. A house. It was the Kuronji Mansion. Everyone in town knew about the witch's house on the hill. It was an unabashedly haunted house where Aoko Aozaki resided, for reasons known only to her. Wait, a witch's? Wait, really? This is a witch's house? Okay. Needless to say, it wasn't really haunted. The Kuronji family home was a grand Western-style mansion with a long and storied history, stretching all the way back to England. Or Iglisse, if you want to say it in Japanese. It was too small to be a dormitory, yet too big to be called a house. The main building contained as many as 3 normal house worth of rooms, and was surrounded by a large, all-encompassing courtyard. The perimeter of the grounds was surrounded by a high iron fence covered in thorny vines. And there was also an annex to the main building. Given such extravagance, it was no wonder that inspired rumors. To the town's residents, the mere existence of such a lavish and out-of-place mansion on top of a hill was a cause for suspicion. Rumors, lies, and slander were the prices to be paid for fame. With only two lodges, it was hard to disagree with the perception that vampires must be living here.
ま、私はともかく、アリスはそういうのやりかねないし。
She put her hand up front of the door. It was a grand double door that would have paired well with a brass lock, and yet it was secured with little more than a simple keyhole. I'm guessing Alice is the roommate she was talking about before. Pushing it open with one hand, she entered the supposedly haunted house. And by the way, if vampires weren't enough to scare you, ghosts were known to appear on certain nights. Much like the weather outside, the foyer was overcast with shades of gray. Perhaps by deliberate design, the architect had chosen not to include any lights in the entrance area. The ceiling was 2 floors high. The only light in the room came from the skylight. Seriously? Just there? It was particularly gloomy on rainy days. On moonless nights, it was like the world itself ceased to be. I would decide the drawing room to the east would be a good place to rest. But knowing that she wouldn't be able to relax until she changed clothes, she started up the stairs. The stairs curled up the wall to the 2nd floor hall. There was a 3rd floor attic as well, accessible from the far end of the hall. She never set foot in there in the 2 years she had lived there, though. The Kuronji family was more or less divided into 2 wings, east and west. Aoko had been given the entire east wing, but 2 rooms were more than enough as far as she was concerned. She had no desire to open a door that would trap you in a storybook world or lead to an attic that would have been used for storage these last 5 years. Fair. I mean, to be fair, I think if I had that many rooms to myself too, I wouldn't really know what to do with it. Because look, the most I could envision for myself would be a streaming room, a gaming room, and then my bedroom. But aside from that, I couldn't think of anything else, to be perfectly honest. Like, yes, I guess you could say a manga room, but it's like, if it's just only manga and it's a closed room without windows, then what's the fucking point? If there's no, like, light or any other form of entertainment in there to keep me up while checking that kind of stuff, or even reading my light novels, because I at least like to listen to, like, my anime openings or full anime openings while reading those. You feel? Ako's room was at the end of the East Wing's long corridor. She elected for a smaller room for no other reason than that she thought it would be easier to clean. You know what? Fair. Very fair. I don't really have much of my room to clean either, considering I have a lot of big stuff in here. It was furnished with a large bed, her beloved mahogany desk, a wardrobe and chest for her clothes, and 2 9-shelf bookcases. That was the extent of what she'd brought from home. Her entire life for 16 years reduced to this. She'd also borrowed the next room down for her own purposes.
そうだ。アリスにもらった見張りと壊れてないかチェックしないと。
A watchtower? Ooh. She needed to see if the project she'd been working on all night had borne fruit. The study next door served as proof of the life she had been living for the last year and how different that life was from the one she had lived before. It was not a room for the person she had been. It was a room for the person she would eventually become. A place of solitude that only she could enter. Or so she thought.
うわ、壊れてるどころか跡形もなく消え去ってる。やっぱ自己流アレンジはまだ早かったか。いいわよ。笑いなさいよ、コマドリ。
The nosy neighbor that intruded upon her sanctuary flew away. While not exceptionally talented, Aoko she did not lack for effort and was not afraid to fail. One could almost mistaken her approach for optimism. She changed out of her uniform and returned to the 1st floor. Down the stairs, she opened the door to the east wing into the corridor as dark as a cellar. The absence of windows meant it was pitch black without the lights on, so she flicked the switch and entered the nearby doorway. Sanny, of course.
電気のない生活か。想像したくないな。
It had been her idea to update the drawing room. The walls were decorated with extravagant patterns, and around the room were large, majestic sofas, and a luxurious Persian rug. Amidst it all was a 30-inch television that seemed completely out of place. Yeah, because I was gonna say, it's quite the TV considering everything else in the room. Like, did they even understand what aesthetic they were trying to go for? He stood looking over the other furniture like the emperor with no clothes. The mansion's owner would have rather done without it, but to a commoner like Alco, it was an essential commodity. They had fought over its presence at first, but eventually came to an agreement and now mutually enjoyed its modern comfort. Right, because I mean, to be fair, if they could, and if they were invented by this point, they probably would have put a flat screen TV instead, but again, this is too much before that time. Because I forget, when does this take place? Does this take place in the 1980s or 90s? Because I think it's, or I don't know, or is this the early 2000s? I just know, like, supposedly, I think, is Sugiyami Remix supposed to take place in, like, the early 2000s, or is that still also before that? I don't know. Again, I don't know the context of any of the games, so I couldn't even say, but I'm just trying to hypothesize. Just based on how this is a prequel to that.
なんだ、人のことは言えないか。うちも案外時代錯誤な家だった。
Lulled by the ticking of the clock, she took a third sip as she pondered how to spend her afternoon. Oh, right, now that I think about it. Yeah, it's not even the evening yet. It's still the afternoon. That's crazy. The sofa almost seemed to be inviting her, and she sucked even further into its comforting embrace. Oh, shit. Wait, someone just entered the room? Hoko blearily, I guess, opened her eyes as she lifted her body up from the cushions. Oh. Oh, okay, good, it is you. I was wondering when we were going to get introduced to you. This was no dream or delusion. At some point, a girl had sat down across from her. Not the least bit surprised, she reached for her teacup. I'm assuming this is Alice? But the tea within had gone completely cold.
寝てた。
She asked the question to the girl on the other side of the table.
ええ。
The girl answered without lifting her gaze. When silent, she could have been mistaken for a beautiful doll. The girl sitting on the opposite sofa was reading an old book. Oh, she's wearing a sister's mate? Or a sister's? Yeah, a sister's outfit, right? Oh, she from the church? She had delicate limbs and pale white skin. Not a hint of humanity emanated from her melancholic aura. She had darker hair than Naoko, and her icy eyes were focused on the pages in front of her. Her clothes resembled that of a nun, but were actually her school uniform. Oh, right. Yeah, because she's the one who goes to a private school. Naoko's humble opinion, the gloominess suited her. She evoked something like out of a painting. There was something unreal about her, as if she were frozen in time. The water of her gently arched neck was so lovely that even Naoko found herself enchanted by. Seriously? The girl was one of the haunted house's 2 residents. Her name was Alice Kuonji. She was the same age as Naoko.
私どれくらい寝てた？
Oh, but they don't have the same last name. Are they maybe step siblings? Maybe? Because she is the official. Alice is the official name Kuonji, but Naoko doesn't.
1時間と少し。ここで眠ると風邪ひくわよ。
Alice answered indifferently. Not that it bothered Naoko, who was now used to it. Looked back at the clock on the wall and saw that it was already 7. She'd been asleep for 2 hours. The day had been a rough one for her. She slept little the night before, so it was no surprise that she had dozed off for as long as she had.
起こしてくれてもよかったのに。せっかくの紅茶が冷めちゃったじゃない。
私が来た時はもう冷めてたわ。
でしょうね。行ってみただけよ。こうなるとフォートナム&メイソンも何もないわね。おかえりアリス。玉の贅沢もあんた抜きじゃ閉まらないってことかしら。今日は薬日か天中殺か。ちょっと早いけどお参りってのも十分ありかもね。
Naoko shrugged her shoulders as if resigning herself to her fate.
それで何があったの？
After 2 years together, they knew each other quite well. Naoko had one way of asking questions, and Alice had another. Alice asked without raising her head, and Naoko gave her the details.
まず謝らなくちゃいけない。昨日徹夜で完成させた例のあれ、意味がなくなっちゃったのよ。ちょっと目を離した隙に沸騰しすぎて壊れちゃったみたい。そうならないよう循環のコードを 2,3 本外したり縫合したりしたんだけど。
どういうこと？
今朝休養が入って学校に呼び出し受けたの。そこで転入生の世話を押し付けられて一日が無残にも消費されちゃって、帰ってきたら跡形もなく消えてました。怒る？アリス。
別に青子の器物破損にいちいち怒っていたら一生分の口論をすることになるでしょ。代用品はあるからまた一から始めればいいわ。それより怒ってるのはあなたの方じゃないの？
うん。
Alice was very much on point today. It was true that despite outward appearances, Aoko was seething with frustration. That aside,
この転入生っていうのがひどくずれててね。すごい山奥で暮らしてたらしくて、こっちの常識が通じないんだから。三問以下って言葉があるけど、あれって本当のことなのね、アリス。
Alice raised her head in response to hearing her name, but Aoko kept going on before she could get a word in edgewise. Aoko, after all, expected no sympathy in the first place.
初対面から尺に触るやつだったけど、 教室を案内した時なんか失神しそうになったわ。そいつ教室で教師と1対1で授業を受けるもんだと思ってたらしいの。ええ、それはそれでまだ流せる。許容範囲よ、あの程度の冗談は。で、私が簡潔かつ丁寧に教室の何たるかを教えた後で、そいつなんて言ったと思う？それで青崎、他の教室は何に使うんだ？ですって。教室に他も何もないでしょ？なんていうか、そいつは少しでも説明を怠るとそのままで納得しちゃうのよ。何も疑問に思わないというか、想像力が欠如してるっていうか、想像することに慣れてないっていうか。まあ一度言ったことはちゃんと分かってるっぽいからバカってわけじゃないんだけど。
あなたが人を批評するのは珍しいわね。そういうダメな人気にするたちだったの？
みじんたりとも気にしないわよ。けど明日からどんな間違いをしでかすのかちょっと心配なだけ。
What she was really worried about was having to clean up that mess if and when it happened. That had to be it. If not, it would mean she had no real idea why she couldn't get him out of her head.
とにかく変なやつなの。案外アリスと気が合うかも。
三問異界はいい言葉ね。
But from her eyes, it was clear that the question of whether they would get along was irrelevant, given that they would never meet in the first place. I could give a non-committal response.
ところでアリス、さっきから何読んでるの？
霊的進化論の二次創作、スピリチュアルダイアリのまがいもの。
ああ、スウェーデンボリー。そんなの今更読んでも仕方ないんじゃない？
新書なら退屈だけど、これは偽書だから。彼の欠点と長所を劇的に褒め上げている。よくできた冒険小説のようよ。立ちはだかる秘密組織の名前がカントとか気が利いているわ。筆跡はあなたのおじいさんのものだけど。
Sup, just opens the book. Oh, okay. I was like, damn, whatever happened? Maybe Izzy went to sleep for tonight or something. Okay, nah, it's cool, bro.
へえ、あの人そういう趣味まであったんだ。割とユーモアがあったのね。惜しい人を亡くしたわ。
I could seem nostalgic over her now deceased grandfather.
あなたのおじいさん、夏に頼りをくれたけど。
よしてよ、死んだものと考えたいのに。
I got a Mega Zorora EX. Wait, you mean a Zoroark or is Zorora a different type of Pokemon? Sorry, I only know up to what's it called? I only know up to when it is a lowland Pokemon. It's a relatively new one. Oh, okay, then it's an electric Pokemon. Oh, okay. I know that one. I know that one then, because I watched a bit of a not Sun and Moon. Sword and Shield. I saw a bit of like the anime version of it. I didn't really get to finish it, but I think I get it. That's like that's the one that's kind of like it's kind of like Zoroark, right? But like you said, it's an electric one. Like it can stand on 2 feet and stuff. Is that the Pokemon I'm thinking of? Is that correct? I could be wrong though. Yeah, it stands on 2 feet. Yeah. It has like a hint of blue somewhere, right? I think that's the one. It's like a cat human. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Now I know what you're talking about then. Because like I said, I saw a bit of a Sword and Shield. Or whatever the name of that Pokemon anime was that's based on the Sun and Moon, or I mean Sword and Shield cast and storyline. I'm rewatching Pokemon right now. I'm almost to Hoenn. Oh, okay, cool. So already completing both Johto and Kanto. I forget which one was first. Was Kanto the first one? And then the second one was Johto, and then it's Hoenn? I always keep forgetting the order of the places. Kanto then Johto, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Cause I'm like, I always confused, like, was it Johto that's first or Kanto? Cause I know the first one's based on Fire Red and Leaf Green. I just keep forgetting what's the name. Is it the Kanto region or the Johto region? But yeah, Kanto first. Johto's the second one with Cyndaquil, Chikorita, and Totodile. Then you got Hoenn, and with the whole battle pyramid and stuff like that, and the battle frontier. I remember that. Then Diamond and Pearl with Cynthia, the best Elite Four character ever. Then the Unova region, I think, which is the setting of Pokemon Black and White. Then after Unova, it's I know it's Pokemon X, Y, and Z, but I don't remember what the name of the region's called. But it's the one with like the Mega Evolutions. Damn it, why do I remember that? Yeah, I forgot. Okay. I mean, to be fair, it's been a while. But yeah, I think. And then again, like I said, then it's the Alola region with like Alolan type Pokemon and stuff like that, and the Z crystals or something, which are like ultimate moves for types and specific Pokemon. Yeah, that's about all I know from there. I haven't watched anything after that because honestly, I just can't be bothered with the direction Pokemon's going. I go side and laid back on the sofa. Saw cushions caved in under her weight.
話は戻るけど、
Alsha glanced at Alko. Her body, buried in the sofa, remained as still as a corpse. What magic decks do you play? No. I'll be honest. I don't have any real decks. I just have like a. My friend gave me like I think like a starter pack or something, and like, I just have like some cards that I can put into as a deck, but it's not like I have like any like a current decks that's like I can't play or a theme or a meta or anything like that. I don't have anything like that. I just have like a whole bunch of stack of cards that we did, and then like he let me keep. But aside from that, not anything really. I think I also have a basic concept, yeah, understanding of the rules. Have you seen any of their sets? They have like Marvel and Avatar and TMNT. Yeah. I do know they collab with other franchises and making cards of like different universes and stuff. Because I think they also did a collab with Final Fantasy at one point, right? Am I remembering that correctly, or was that a different card franchise that did it? They did. Oh, okay. Yeah, then I know what you're talking about. Then last year. Oh, okay. Yeah, but like I said, I get what Magic is, but like I haven't done any of that kind of stuff. Because that's the thing. It's really hard for me to try to like make a or try to construct a Magic deck when it's like I barely know the concept at all, and then it's like, oh, make a playable one all of a sudden. Because like I said, it's not like I enter locals or anything like that, so I wouldn't even really have use for it. Where it's like, at least when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh cards, I at least have a decent understanding of Yu-Gi-Oh and at least some of an understanding of the current state it's in, with all like the hand traps and shit. Well, at least some understanding of hand traps and stuff. I don't have the perfect understanding, but I at least understand that concept of like getting Ash Blossomed or Infinite Imperm or Triple Tactics talents and stuff. You can play Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic the Gathering should be easier to get into. No, yeah, I know. Like, I know it's not too, like, strange compared to, like, rulings and stuff. It's just, like, getting to the concept is a bit harder for me. Just because, again, it's, like, kind of diving into, like, a new subject. Oh, anyway, let's check this out a bit more. It was clear Alco had tuned out the conversation. Alice silently chastised her with a look. The more she thought about it, the less important the events of the day seemed to become. If she just ignored Alice, the conversation would end there. They would eventually get up and leave today's mistake unresolved for another day. However, that's not the kind of person Aoko Aozaki was.
いいわよ。何？
They have pre-con decks that are pretty good to start with. You can also just print out cards on paper. Wait, really? Well, yeah, I guess it's like just a reference for like practicing, I guess. She asked, still lying down.
今日できなかったのは少し痛いわね。
Oh, her experiment? Yeah, it's a common thing. Really? Well, again, I guess it's like for hypothesizing for when you can get the cards at that. It's called proxying. Oh, okay. It's like I get the concept of like what proxies are, but I didn't know people actually print them out and then like actually test like those decks out on their own to get like an understanding of it before actually getting the actual decks and sets. That's interesting. Yeah, people print out entire deck. Really? Okay, that I did not know. Because again, I know like people proxy cards to then like sell and stuff, but I didn't know you could do it like that and actually make it worthwhile as like gameplay wise. Yeah, people print out entire decks rather than buy the card. Really? That's new to me. I should ask my buddy if that's true. I mean, you're telling me, and it's not like I doubt you. I've known you for so long, man. It's just like I want to see if he's also known about it, considering he's also been to like competing in his local card shop recently. So maybe he'd also know that concept too.
だから反省してるって。学校優先は一人前になってからでしょ。
Ah, okay, yeah. So again, it's like she does understand the concept of magic, because I was like, we kind of just avoided that or just going to like ordinary day stuff. But it's like, when are we going back to the whole magic focus of this? But I see. There we go.
ならいいけど。
The coldness in her voice made Alco gnash her teeth. So what, is she just not capable of magic yet? So is it like she's trying to find a way to do it, but Alice is clearly capable of it? She's like, she's her ticket in. Yeah, man, let me know if you want to get into it more. I'd be down to play with you. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's like, if I ever get into the idea of it, I wouldn't mind it too much. It's just like, when would the interest spike me? It'd be the question. Not as a. It's just a matter of when, really. She knew what Alice wanted to say. She knew better than anyone. The veneer she wore for school was different than the way she lived at home. Well, it could be called hiding in plain sight. Alice thought it was silly. But what the silence told her was,
覚悟を決めろって言いたいのよね、あんたは。
I mean, to be fair, she is just kind of like dilly-dallying, living the life of an ordinary civilian, right? But again, she's gonna have to choose because that's the case. If you're gonna become part of the magic world, you're gonna stay stuck in that world because there's no going back to being a regular civilian once you dive deep into the supernatural. It's impossible. Today's failure was not a colossal one. She just happened to upset the delicate balance between her home and school lives, chasing one at the expense of the other. Yet that careless mistake was a clear sign of Ako's lack of commitment. Ah, okay.
アリスは関係ない。これは私が私で決めなくちゃいけないこと。
Alright. She'd only known for sure for the last year and a half, but she had a hunch for as long as she could remember. Make the choice and the day will come. It was little wonder that her morals and conscience had been stripped away. Look, pushed herself back up. She was met by Alice's cold beauty and wordless gaze.
オッケー、アリス。来週中に決着をつけよう。それでいいんでしょ？
ええ、青子がいいなら。
Aka couldn't help but shake her head, feeling like she was hearing something similar to for the second time that day. Even in the comfort of her own, she couldn't banish thoughts of that country boy from her mind.
じゃあ下準備はよろしくね。私まだできないし。
場所は例の公園でいい？
妥当な線ね。あ、でももう一軒の方は？そっちの方が急務じゃない？
時と場合、森に変化があれば教えるわ。
After that brief exchange, Alice returned her attention to the book on her lap. Shop talk was over. Now they could return to their normal relationship as roommates. Hako grabbed the remote and turned on the TV. Since Alice was busy reading, Hako decided to tune into a variety show that had already started.
Ah.
Alice started to speak but suddenly cut herself off. One of her delicate hands raised to her mouth. She would always cut herself off the second she realized she was about to say something trivial. Sometimes her self-restraint would hit too late. She would make a gesture like the one she was making now. It occurred to Alko that the Alice sound from her cute little roommate made just now was different than the one she played in times past.
何？
どうということはないんだけど。
ないんだけど？
My god, these expressions are killing me, right? Alice looked away bashfully, not knowing if she should bring it up or not. It was times like these that her expression carried a real warmth and surprising charm. It actually does. If he could see her in this moment, Alice's father would have had to admit that her name suited her perfectly.
今日帰ってくるときおかしなものを見て誰かに話そうと思っていたんだけど、つまらない本当に意味のないことよ。けどどう考えてもそんなことをする理由がわからない。青子、人間ぐらいの大きな猫がひょこひょこ出前をする理由ってわかる？
Oh my god. No fucking way. That was his part-time job. I thought the reason he wore the costume was so then he could spin a sign, you know? Like for when the car washes want you to like advertise their car wash area, so then they have the one person in like the suit or like decorative colors like hold a sign and then spin it and dance with it to show off, to be like, hey, come check out our car wash and our special deals. I thought it was just gonna be something like that. They're making him deliver in a suit like that? Oh my god, that's crazy. That is some next level shit. That reminds me kind of like how I think that was like a mini game gameplay in Yakuza Like a Dragon 2, right? Because Ichiban had to deliver food at one point, I think. But like dressing up and having to do that? Dude, you couldn't pay me to do that shit. You know how much I'd be sweating in that thing? For a second, Alko thought Alice was trying and failing miserably to make a joke again. One would think that about anyone, really. But she seemed completely serious. Even if Alice's sense of humor fell flat for Alko, the story already sounded more fanciful than Alice's usual attempt at jokes. Alko concluded that her roommate was talking about something she had actually seen.
その話には2つぐらい信じがたい部分があるけど、1つずつ論破していい？
いいの。私もからくりぐらいは思いつくから。ただ理由がわからないから聞いてるの。わざわざ精巧な猫のぬいぐるみを着て出前のてんやものを届けに行くことってそんなに簡単かしらね。
難易度以前にそれをやる人間の常識性を疑うけどね、私は。まあ世の中いろいろあるから、私たちみたいなのもいれば、下界から遮断された山奥で暮らしていたやつまで10人十色よ。私だったら見かけたら声かけて理由を尋ねただろうけど。暮れゆく住宅街にさまよう出前猫か。背景が夕焼けだったらファンタジーだったでしょうに。で、今日の夕飯どうする？せっかく話が出たし、私らもてんやものにしようか。
Alko loved getting takeout. and her face glowed when she spoke. They had no hard rules for dinner, but if one was in the mood to cook, they made it a point to make enough for two. At the very worst, this meant entire weeks without dinner, but the two of them agreed that this was the system that worked best for them. Whether they found cooking to be too much effort or simply liked ordering out, just like this one were a common occurrence, was the chagrin of the restaurants of Misaki Town. Delivering to the mansion meant coming all the way to the top of this hill, so was it the disgruntlement.
時間は8時前。ギリギリセーフね。私今月がいいな。あそこの月見そば最近ご無沙汰だったし。
Oh, I see. That's how this is gonna play out. You know what? I actually want to see that. The hungry student council president laid out a stack of takeout menus, like she might fan a deck of cards and excitedly scan for anything that stood out. Alice casually responded without sparing so much as a glance.
悪いけど、私夕飯済んでるの。
But those words took a fro. Yeah, I was gonna be like, wait, but aren't you two supposed to have dinner together? And you had dinner outside, but you didn't bring any for your roommate? Bro, that's kind of harsh. All deliveries required a minimum of 2 items, so she was out of luck without a cup. Wait, what? Actually, you know what? I guess it would make sense, right? Because this is before Ubers are even a thing. So, without a car to make it much more convenient, you actually would have to take the time to skateboard or bike all the way to someone's house just to deliver food. Did you see all the smoke outside today? I did. I'll be honest, I didn't even know what the fuck was going on. Because I did my stream earlier today, right? Like for on Wuthering Waves. Then I check out the window before I go get my food. Because I was kind of hungry. And this was before I was going to go to the gym. So I'm like, okay, let me go get some food outside. What's the weather like? I see that it's hard to see outside. And I'm like, what the hell? I didn't get news of any fog happening. Then I see and I'm like, okay, does it say anything on the little news tab on my PC? Next thing I know, supposedly DC is in a code purple, I think they said it was earlier. And I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? Then I got a call from my sister earlier because she was like, hey, how you doing with all the smoke in the air? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? What smoke? She's like, oh, okay. It's this thing that happened in Canada and now it's affecting us. I'm like, oh, this shit again. Because this is the second time, isn't it? Not in the same year, but the second time in at least a couple of recent years where this happened before. But yeah, that was crazy though. At least earlier in the day, it was like, damn, it was really hard to see. I actually wore a mask because I was like, you could really feel it when you leave the house immediately. I was like, oh my god, I need to put on my mask now. And I did. Then I came back home, had my lunch, but then I had to go back out again because, like I said, I was going to the gym to shoot some hoops. So then I had to take my mask back again. I'm like, oh god, here I go again. So yeah, still crazy though. If I hadn't checked out one thing on my computer, I honestly would not have known about it. Which gym did you go to? The one with the court. Because I mean, to be fair, there is only one with a court anyway. Well, I mean, technically, there's two. Technically, the one near you. No. You know the one on campus. You know, the one by the roundabout. You know, like how campus has that one. Yeah. That. Yes. Yeah, I went there today. But only with an accomplice. That's crazy. Cruel society had decided it couldn't be bothered to deliver to a princess who only ordered a single serving of food. Well, I mean, to be fair, I think anyone would think that way, right? Because, again, it's one thing if you're doing it in a car, because at least you can get tips, and you at least have the AC on and stuff. But having to do it by bike, or by skateboard, or by walking, that would be cruel. Yeah, what have you been eating? Since I'll be honest, dude. It's just been really takeout. I'll be honest with you. I'm not living the most healthy life, but then again, I am just like working a lot and going to the gym at times and streaming. So, yeah. Not really a time where it's like I really even know how to cook for myself. So, just been sometimes getting Chinese, sometimes getting pollo la brasa, sometimes getting fast food. Sometimes I at least get teriyaki chicken though to change things up. Just ate Five Guys today. I feel that. Dude, wow. Literally read my mind. I had Five Guys literally yesterday for lunch. How ironic, bro. Incidentally, to counteract orders from the Hilltop Mansion, the restaurants declared the minimum number of orders will be 3 starting next year. Wait, what? Oh my god. They made a rule for that household? No fucking way. That is hilarious. They have a buy one, get one free in Uber. Oh, okay. Uber Eats. Okay, gotcha. Dude, are you serious? They made a rule specifically for if that mansion tries to make us go deliver, you have to meet these conditions. Oh my god. That is the funniest shit I've heard regarding takeout ever. Bro, are you serious? And seriously, they're even elevating that rule next year to make it by 3? That's insane. But funny. Alco and Alice were still in the dark to this fiendish change of 3. Wait, and they don't even know about it? That's even funnier.
この裏切り者だから帰ってくるのが遅かったのね
Ah, yeah, now that I think about it, yeah, she would have had all that time to eat, wouldn't she? Wait, what's this VN about? Well, I'll be honest, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Because supposedly it's supposed to be like an introduction to like the world of magic. Because supposedly this is a prequel to the VN known as Tsukihime, which then got a revamp known as Tsukihime Remake. And this is kind of like saying this, it's setting up the world building in regards to like magic and the magic society and all that shit before that, but I don't know anything more beyond that. I only know a bit about characters from this game in Tsukihime Remake from playing Melty Blood Type Lumina, which is basically a fighting game akin to Street Fighter, but just anime-wise, including characters from the Nasuverse, which, like, you know, also like Fate series. So, yeah, I don't really know too much about it, but that's why I'm trying to do this now, because this, like I said, this is my first ever visual novel. I don't know what the fuck I'm in for.
帰宅部学校までバス徒歩込みで片道20分のあんたがなんで5時以降に帰ってくんのか考えるべきだったわ
I swear, I love this VN already. But yeah, you make different choices. Do you make different choices that affect the story? I don't know. I mean, I know certain visual novels do that. Like Steins Gate, they did that. Tsukihime Remake, I heard there are different endings that you can get in that too. But I don't know if this game has that or not. Well, I guess we're gonna figure out if it does or not. But we'll see. Like I said, I'm completely in the dark about this. I'm just trying to at least start on this before like the movie or anime or whatever it is they make of this game comes out. So then it's like I can do a comparison of like, okay, how similar is it to like the actual game? Unfortunately for Aoko, she had been too out of it to even remember that she was the one who had fallen asleep.
ああひどい女そういう時は残された一人のためにお土産買ってくるのが暗黙の了解だったのに私だってこの前の外食の時はアリスの分も買ってきたじゃない
It was unknown how serious Aoko was being, but she was visibly angry. She had already woken up hungry that morning, and from the time she was called into school until now, she consumed nothing but tea. It was a small miracle that her stomach wasn't growling. Yeah, now that I think about it, yeah, she never even had lunch, and she didn't have breakfast before she left. She knew it was her own fault, but she persisted, wanting to get revenge on Alice for scolding her earlier.
この前ってあれのこと
let me guess, she gave you like one bag of chips and called it dinner.
あなたが都心に出向いた時、夕食にお寿司を食べてきたのに、お土産はなぜかコンビニエンスストアのビニール袋だったって話？
Okay, now that, to be fair, I understand why. Because, damn, that's cruel. You got to eat sushi? And you gave her convenience store food? Are you serious? Like, I don't know if this is the conveyor belt sushi or like real restaurant style sushi, but still, you give her back convenience store food in exchange for that? That's cold-blooded. I'll be honest, you deserve this. That's karma. I gotta kick the hornet's nest.
何よ、買ってこないよりはマシでしょ。
真実は時に隠蔽すべきね。
Seriously. Have you done a 24-hour stream yet? No, not yet. Again, I think the closest I've done was like a 12.5-hour stream, but never 24-hour stream yet. Because the other problem is, I wouldn't even know what to do for a 24-hour stream. I wouldn't even know what to, or in what sense would I do a 24-hour stream? Because, like, what would I do it for? Because, I mean, technically I keep jumping up and down between around 100 viewers, or I mean followers. So it's like, I don't really know for that. Stream playing basketball? Wait, what? You mean like IRL, or you mean like in 2K? Because I can't do it IRL. I don't show my face or anything like that. Trying to say incognito, dude. And 2K, dude, you had to pay to win in 2K. Just show the hoop. I mean, I guess, but dude, I don't know how to work a camera. Are you serious? I don't know jack shit. Hell, I barely know how to stream. Alice's icy gaze pierced right through her. Uncle had certainly crossed the line by going on and on about how the sushi circled around the restaurant, while Alice ate at her convenience store meal. Oh my god. Wait, you seriously did that to her? What the fuck? You're a demon! But new things fascinating her, and she couldn't contain her curiosity towards the conveyor belt sushi shops that started popping up at the time. Nothing short of miraculous. Bro, you actually did! Aw, fuck you, Elko. What the hell? Like, look, I may not be a sushi guy, but even I understand the concept that when it comes to conveyor belt sushi, you can get en masse quantity for a low amount. God damn it, my AirPod died. Hold up, give me a second. Jeez. I keep forgetting this is a thing. Give me like a minute or so. Sorry about that. I'm trying to fix this without actually having to go to my settings. Ah, shit. Okay. I see the problem. Both my AirPods are fucking dead. So, I'm not gonna be able to listen to anything. So, if anything, I think this is probably a good place to save the game for now before we do anything else. Because otherwise, I'm gonna be fucking stuck here. So, yeah, let me place a bookmark here for now. Ooh, okay, good. I actually get to save my stuff here. So yeah, let me save this here for now. Yeah, okay, this is good. But yeah, I think I'll end the stream here for now. I get it is a bit of a strange place to kind of end the stream. Wait, what? Why can't I hear stuff? Okay, never mind. It fixed itself. Okay, I can do a bit more. Yeah, I'll do at least just a couple minutes. Okay, yeah. But new things fascinate her and she couldn't contain her curiosity toward it. Nah, but again, it's like, you can stack that up to be an affordable meal with all that sushi. That's cold, Alco. How can you do that? And then you had the gall to tell her about this. Like, what the hell? Are you working tomorrow? Nah, I'm off tomorrow. That's why I'm gonna be streaming Final Fantasy VII Rebirth tomorrow. Finally gonna start on part 2, dude. Like, you had no idea how long I've somehow delayed finishing Remake. So, I am glad I can finally move on to Rebirth before Revelations comes out in 2027. So, that's at least what I plan on doing. And, yeah, let's see where I go from there. Even honesty can be a sin given the right circumstances.
わかった。わかりました。じゃあ今回のは前のと帳消しってことでいいわね。
I almost went back to her book without so much as recognizing the question. The fact that she didn't confirm it made Alco anxious.
仕方ない。今日は薬日だし、おとなしく台所に立って料理の腕を磨くとしましょう。
Aww, okay. I was hoping that this would create a situation in which Suzuki would come by. She stood up announcing her intent to no one in particular.
あ、聞き忘れてた。アリス、どこで夕食済ませたの？
This isn't gonna be good, is it? As his hand froze on the current page. She suddenly shut the book she was reading and stood up as if at wit's end. She walked across the drawing room with her book in hand. As she reached the door, she stopped and turned toward Alco.
聞きたい。
Oh no. Please don't say it was a Yakuniku place. Do you also play games off stream? Yeah, of course, dude. I be grinding on Mario Kart 8. Because you know how my sisters sometimes be better than me at Mario Kart at times, so I try to be better than her. I grind a bit on Pokemon Fire Red. Let's see. What else? I did some Sonic Racing Crossroads at a point. I should get back to it at some point. Like, just for myself.
まあ、なんとなく。
And again, I do grind for the gacha games I play. Like the Fire Red on the Switch. Yeah, exactly. Wow, you literally called the exact game I have. Yes, I have Fire Red. My sister is Leaf Green. And right now, she's at the point where she's visiting the islands before going to the 8th gym leader. I've already did most of post-game. The only thing I haven't done, I think, post-game wise is catch Deoxys. I think that's the only thing I need to do, and then I'll have basically done all the post-game stuff. Because I went to the battle tower thing to get a couple of... Oh, no. I haven't done the rematch fight with the Elite Four. That's the other thing I haven't done yet. Because I know the Pokemon get stronger that the Elite Four have, and you give them a rematch. Right. I haven't done that yet either. That's why it's like I'm trying to train more of my Pokemon so that it's like I can have a better selection of what I can use to face them. Right. I was continued in her matter-of-fact way.
その猫が余ったメニューをくれたのよ。
Are you gonna start streaming it? Unfortunately, not. Because the problem is, like I said, I've done practically everything in the game. I'm at post-game. So there's really kind of no point in even streaming it, even if I wanted to. And also, I don't have a capture card. So I wouldn't know how to stream stuff from my Switch to the Twitch. So It wouldn't be possible regardless of if I had the means or didn't. But I brief response, she left the room. Wait, really? He gave her one of her deliveries? Chapter 1, all scenarios right. Ooh, I did it! Whoa! Okay. Little happening of last night. Oh, okay, so we see how that situation happened. Let's see. Yeah, so I'll save here. Wow, I actually finished the entire first chapter in one stream. Awesome. We are making a lot of headway here. Not. No, I'm not trying to. No. Yeah, overwrite the data. No, come on. Let me. No, let me leave. Damn it. No, I'm trying to save. Wait, what? Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll just leave that at that for now. At least I finally started Witch in the Holy Night. God damn. Like I said, I had been planning to do this 2 weeks ago, or maybe even 3 weeks ago, but I was just having inconveniences just keeping me from doing it. But hey, at least I did a 3 hour stream of it, so I'm at least putting the effort back into this shit. And to be fair, I'm liking the story so far. Are we getting to the magic element? We're nowhere near there yet. But is this still an enjoyable story? It is. And like I said, I love the expressions here because like I've seen some funny ass expressions in Fake Grand Order, like what the Natsuverse can give for these. And like we've seen like Neko Arcade or I mean Neko Arc and stuff like that. So it's like we can see how interesting the facial expressions can be at times. And I'm really liking how unique this protagonist is, Aoko Aozaki. Like seriously, she is fun to be around. I can't wait to see what more we have in store for this. But anyway, that is going to be the official end of the stream for tonight, everybody. Like I said, later today we will be doing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We'll finally be starting on it after so long since the last time I finished a remake, which was I think that was probably around the beginning of this year, or was it last year? I don't remember. And we just finished the interlude chapter or intermission chapter just a couple days ago. So we are all set to move on. And like I said, I'll try to find a bit more free time in this next week to do some more Wuthering Waves and Punishing Grey Raven for those main stories, and still be doing Tales of Berseria on Monday. But anyway, let me give a huge shout out to my boy AZN169 for showing up to the stream, and it was great having this nice chat with you, man. It's been so long since we've been catching up. I really should find time for us to hang out so we can catch up even more, and even just like hang out and shit. So I'll definitely try to find a way to like set something like that up. And like I said, I could try to introduce you to my buddy, because I think you guys will also hit it off too. But we'll see. It's just something I'll have to get into. And yeah, like I said, this is how the schedule is going to be for like the next bit. And again, just a reminder that the week after this next week, I won't be streaming on Friday and Saturday because, like I said, I'll be going to Otakon and I'll be busy those 2 days for that. And also, another quick heads up: I will for this next week. This next Saturday won't be Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because I'm actually scheduled to work that day. So I will schedule the next Rebirth stream, the one that's after today's, for some other day in the week because I have 4 days off this next week from work. Not in a row, obviously, but 4 out of 7 days I'm free. So I'll try to put Final Fantasy in one of those other days. I just had to figure out which one, but again, that's something I'll figure out. You guys will know notifications. But anyway, if you guys did enjoy the stream but already found the channel, please make sure to leave a follow. Much appreciated. Check out my YouTube channel. I post a lot of VODs. Subscribe as well. Join the Discord, you guys already. Links to all those are on the channel. But this has been Santa's Voice. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. I'll see you guys next time. We're out.